Kemcho Gujarat and good evening Indian football fans. Welcome to the final match day of season 2 here in the Gujarat Super League. We will see the VADODARA Warriors coming back to the same situation in hopes of doing themselves one step better, and standing in front of that is the Ahmedabad Avengers, who will look to win the trophy for the first time as well. So the stage is set for the finals, but before the finals, let's look at how the journey has been for both these teams who've made their way onto this very stage.
Gujarat Super League.
फुटबॉल नो रंग छे अमने चढ़्यो गुजराती मिजाज हवे वंटोळे चढ़्यो फुटबॉल नो रंग छे अमने चढ़्यो गुजराती मिजाज हवे वंटोळे चढ़्यो गुजरात गुजरात सुपर लीग सुपर लीग फुटबॉल नो रंग छे अमने चढ़्यो गुजराती मिजाज हवे वंटोळे चढ़्यो फुटबॉल नो रंग छे अमने चढ़्यो गुजराती मिजाज हवे वंटोळे चढ़्यो
Oh, that's a beautiful video along with a very good beat and music to add on. And let's add on to the wonderful beats here in the commentary box. Joining me, we have Rohit Ganguly. Kemcho, Rohit, how are you doing? Rohit will be joining
Good
us.
evening,
Let's
sir.
listen
Good
into
evening.
what the coach.
First of all, congratulations on reaching the finals and topping the table.
Thank you.
How proud are you of the team's consistency this season?
Yeah, I'm really proud because the last match was do and die. We have to win, draw, would not run, and the boys had a great showed their great attitude to be on the field and try to get these 3 points, very crucial points. I'm really proud for my boys to be in the final.
How has the team evolved from the first match of the season till now?
Yeah, they had done a very good, fantastic job. The alignment of the team, the balance, the coordination of the team was every match to match they got improved, and those 5 players who are from the outstation get gelled up with the Gujarat local boys and did a fantastic job, and that is the reason why we are in the final.
Does finishing top add pressure or confidence going into the finals?
Yeah, there is a confidence definitely. Being the top of the table, the boys are really confident to give a good show on the final, and I prefer that it will be a fantastic final.
What do you think about Vadodara Warriors as a team?
Yeah, they are really very tough competitive. They are having a very good set of players. The boys are a lot of experienced players there in their belt, and it will be a tough competition to win the match.
How do you see the growth of Gujarat Super League in its second season?
Yeah, it is a fantastic growth. I should really appreciate Gujarat State Association for Football Association for doing this taking this initiative to organize this tournament. There are a lot of local boys who are getting involved and getting and knowing about the Gujarat Super League. Even there are a lot of phone calls are coming in and that they want to play Gujarat League. So it is that booming in India. And again, really a big thanks to Gujarat State Football Association because doing this such a fantastic league and making this league so popular.
Thank you so much, sir, and all the very best for the game.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, at the other end, I think Vadodara Warriors, that's a dressing room for them. Salim Pathan had something to say ahead of the game before
evening,
I
sir.
give my introduction.
First of all, congratulations on reaching to the
Thank you
finals.
so much.
What do you think has been the biggest strength of your squad throughout this Gujarat Super League season?
Unity, team bonding. They're always together. They understand. They know the role, responsibility, why they are here. This make a big impact on my team.
Any specific player or unit you like to credit for your dominant run in this tournament?
Definitely, there are some outstation players. The 5 players, even local players are not that bad. They're also good. They're also like equally contributing with the players. But definitely, they're outstation players, especially Manveer, Bhupinder. They're making impact on it.
What does this platform mean for the local talent and football culture?
It's
in
very
the state?
important. If you want to develop football, you need a platform. You need a tournament like this. I really want to thank GSL and all the club owners to give the opportunity and they contribute to the GSL. It's a very important league for the players because if you get a match to play and the players bring from outside, you compete with them, then automatically your confidence boosts. And not this year, we can see because after the last year's GSL also, there are a lot of improvement in the player. I hope the local player improve and they do well.
What do you think about your opponent as a team?
Yeah, they are a good team. They're a good team. They're a balanced team. They're a compact team. And then let's hope for the good final.
Thank you so much, sir, and all the very best for
Thank
the
you
game.
so much. Thank you.
Right, Salim Pathan had a lot to say. He's very confident. And Ryan, you asked me ahead of the 2 interviews that we had that how am I doing? Well, as the saying goes in India, when there's football around the corner, you're never really doing bad. You're always pepped up. You're always stoked up for some exciting, enticing action. And given the fact that we have arrived at the final chapter, the summit clash that will see the crowning ascension, I think alongside everyone watching this game, alongside Gujarat, alongside the footballers of the state, they're all in a phenomenal state. Ryan, I would ask you, you have been a commentator in this tournament. I've also seen, we'll quickly take a look at the starting 11, however, before I go to you, Ryan. A 4-3-3 formation is what the Avengers have. Ajmal under the sticks, Goti Mayum, Arshad Malik, Aman Sheikh, Brajesh Yadav, Mo Asrar, Jay Kanani, and Mitay, Akshay Mal, Basit Ahmed, and Neeraj Kumar. And the substitute as well looks pretty solid. Sumit, Rahul, Vinay, Tufail. Well, Ryan, what would you make of the Vadodara Warriors?
Oh, I love this team. I love what Salim Pathan has brought in. He did mention the bonding. Let's look at the 12 that's bonded to start here in the final. The captain, Aditya, leading along with Aditya with the gloves. We have Jenish, the captain, along with Krupal, Manveer Singh, Krupal again, Premjit Singh, Sekhan Lal Tuboy, Totan Das, Dharmesh, Rahul, and Bhupinder Singh. A very interesting set of substitutes also is what the Vadodara Warriors will rely on in this final match. And they will hope that super subs will come into play in a final game who could make the difference ultimately as they start off with this interesting formation of 3-5-2. Rohit?
Oh, absolutely. And I think, when you're starting with a 3-5-2 formation in a particular game, it kind of tells you volumes about your midfield, the kind of confidence that you have in your attacking excellence, and the way that you would like both these units to come together, collaborate, and eventually fire home. I think that's absolutely impeccable. And throughout the tournament, Vadodara Warriors, the kind of battle that they have put up, the kind of showdown that they have put up, I think it's a very, very strong reason for the Ahmedabad Avengers to take note. And that's the silverware. That's what these teams will be fighting for.
Definitely. And I think all eyes will be on Baroda, that is the Vadodara Warriors, because they made it up until the very end last year, but they lost to the Karnavati side in the finals. And this time, Rohit, their side has experienced players on every position, especially different goal scorers in a campaign is always a good sign for a team. You have a lot of players who could be the ultimate big match player here in the final. So the Ahmedabad Avengers will have to be at their best today, and I'm sure they will be because it is the final matchup.
No, absolutely. It goes without saying. I think throughout the league, the kind of consistency that they had for display, 5 matches, 4 victories, just that one defeat, 9 goals that they have scored in 5 games, so almost close to 2 games, 2 goals a game. And, it tells you that how good they are attacking wise. But the major problem that lies is that defensive unit of theirs. They have conceded 4 goals, and they need to be extremely aware that this is where Vadodara Warriors would like to strike, because Vadodara Warriors as well, they come in with a very good set of attackers in that unit of theirs. So 5 matches, 3 wins for them, but they have went on to score 12 goals and conceded just a couple of them. So yes, even defensively they are very strong, attacking wise as well they are very strong. And what I think, Ryan, is the best part about the Vadodara Warriors is that they don't like giving up, they don't like capitulating until that final whistle.
Think it's in the name. They are the Warriors for the reason. They will give it all that they've got. And here they are to redeem themselves from the disappointment they faced in the finals in the previous edition. And Vadodara, being one of those heritage cities from Gujarat, will hope to bring in that football heritage with this trophy. You can see everybody in the stadium being lively. The fans are coming into the stands, and we're in for a blockbuster, Rohit.
Oh, absolutely. We are in for a blockbuster. I really like your choice of words out here. And why not? You can see the stands filling in at the end of the day. It's a midweek evening. Make no mistake about that. It's a midweek evening, and yet fans have chosen to defy all possible odds on their platter. They want some high octane football, and they know that when it's the GSL finale, they will have some high octane action as promised by the players. And I think both the coaches, they were talking about the incredible evolution of the players. What would you think, or rather, what would you say of it, Ryan?
I think massive point there by the coach. They themselves have noted it. Another important factor he mentioned, which goes with it, is that there are multiple calls coming, which means the idea of the Gujarat Super League as work indeed. And I'm sure you can take a look at the bunch of young lads that come in. There were school kids, there were school teams that came in to watch the game. They are all being inspired, they're all being exposed to a certain tournament that is happening in their state, and they all envision playing here. And when you play a tournament like this, you're getting the exposure, you're getting the visibility to progress and play at the bigger stages. And of course, Gujarat is making their mark in the Indian football, and I'm sure it's just going to be a few years time before we see Gujarat playing the highest division football in the Indian footballing circuit as well.
Oh, absolutely. Since you talked about the highest footballing division, I think a few players from the state has already been doing the rounds. They have done an incredible job. They have embraced the challenges which have been thrown at their feet. They have picked the gauntlet up, and they have shown some incredible grit, some incredible gumption. And more importantly, what I believe is that they have practiced the work ethic. That work ethic that I've seen not just from the players, from the coaches, from the organizers of this tournament. As they say, that the best thing should channel from top above, like from the top down. It should be coming through everyone. And I think from the ones who have organized this tournament, from the ones who are broadcasting, that Sports Cast India and FIFA Plus as well, we are getting to watch this game on their platform, to the organizers, to the team members, to the support staff. Everyone has taken the Gujarat Super League as a massive challenge, and they have delivered with their very best.
Wonderfully said there, Rohit. And I think it just sets us up in a very good manner for this match. And we know that there is still one more agenda pending apart from the growth, the platform that is given from this tournament, and that is to decide and also witness who is going to be the winner of season 2. We will, of course, see a new champion, but will it be the Ahmedabad Avengers or will it be the Vadodara Warriors? A few minutes' time, we will kick this match off, and after 90 minutes, we will know who will be lifting that. But Rohit, keeping in mind the tournaments you've also covered in the commentary front, you've covered similar leagues of different states. And what do you have to say about this particular one from Gujarat? How different has it been? What is something unique that you have noticed?
Well, I was fortunate enough to cover the first iteration of this tournament as well. And since then, as you said, that yes, I've seen a lot of football, and now that I'm covering the second edition of this alongside the final, I mean, I'm very privileged that I'm getting to cover the finale with you. I think that football has evolved a lot in Gujarat. I mean, particularly this league. Last year, when it all started, I think there were things that could have been worked upon. I think there was a lot that to be desired for the teams. But this year, I think the overall evolution has been absolutely impeccable. And I think the youngsters that the coaches were talking about, they have done a phenomenal job. And as we talk, marching out to the center, the two finalists, an incredible job done so far, and they deservedly are walking out to the final pedestal. One last song, one last dance, one last symphony. Who is it that will get the perfection in place? Is it gonna be Vadodara Warriors or is it going to be the Ahmedabad Avengers? And Ryan, I mean, Vadodara Warriors, you were talking about, they were also the finalists last year. This year as well, they have reached the finals. Last year as well, they have finished as the second team in the points table. This year, they have also been in the second position. It's just that they have looked a lot better in terms of goals scored. Last year, they scored 9 goals in the group stages and conceded 6. This year, they scored 12 goals in the group stages and conceded 2. What would you say about this entire evolution?
I think one word to put is brilliant, because the way I mentioned, they having experienced campaigners on every position, that is thoroughly important for a champion caliber team, and that is how they've come in with the preparation, with the players being experienced individuals. You know, even Manveer Singh Deol, I think all eyes will be on him because he is in form and he is one of those players that can help see his team through. So Rohit, I also like how they denied Surat strikers who were contenders to finishing top 2 by beating them 5-0, because ultimately it was the goal difference. So the intent is good for them coming into this, and I'm sure they will bring in a blockbuster as we have our dignitaries on the pitch wishing the players all the very best before this match unfurls. And Rohit, I think I'm going to have to put you on the spot. You can do so with me as well. But what are your predictions quickly before we head into the matchup? Who is going to be lifting this trophy?
Well, Ryan, why would you do this to me time and time again? I've been in the commentary box with you, and in this habit of yours, I absolutely do not like of asking the tough questions. But nonetheless, since you asked, again, truth be told, both these teams are so closely matched in terms of caliber. It's kind of hard to pick up which team is going to make it. But I think whatever the result is, I would rather go with a good goal fest in the making, because I think both the teams are very solid in terms of their attacking quotient. So I am possibly predicting what a 4-5 goal affair, and it's gonna be a very evenly poised battle.
I request everybody to rise for the national anthem.
All right, that's an interesting prediction. Before we continue, let's All right. There's the national anthem, and we are all set for this matchup. I like your prediction there, Rohit. And to our viewers, the two different tournaments that the two of us have covered, one being a final that went to penalties, and the other match was a goal fest. So I think we're in for a cracker of an encounter here in the finals of the GSL Season 2. And the players will quickly move ahead and take their positions to get this match underway, Rohit. I can feel the excitement coming in. You can hear some noise coming in from the stadium as well. And this is the right atmosphere for a final of football.
Ryan, guess what? I'm gonna throw you also into a spot of bother since you did the same to me. I would love to know what would be your predictions for this high octane battle.
For a second there, I thought I was let go off, but you being as sharp as you are, Rohit, did not let me go off. So, yeah, since I'm in the spot as well, I'm going to go ahead and side with the Vadodara Warriors only because I saw them in the opening match of season 2 and how the coach's words changed from what he said back then to, how he wants to see how this team comes together, to him telling that team bonding is what his team has emphasized on to make it all the way to the finals. So I would like to see Team Baroda, that is the Vadodara Warriors, go all the way. And yeah, that's my prediction.
Right, Ryan, the match officials today: Akash Mehta, the referee. The assistant referees are Umang Parmar and Rushik Tillala, and Jarvish Makwan, a very seasoned campaigner, as the fourth official. Dinesh Nair, a man who's done a lot of games for AIFF, is the match commissioner as well. And I think you used a very nice word out there, Ryan, which I really love. That is the team bonding. And truth be told, I think at the start of the tournament, when a preceptor is being inquired of the fact that what are your goals, I think a lot of coaches tends to make a very holistic prediction instead of going one match at a time. But since you talked about Salim Pathan, I think I've seen him in other tournaments as well. That man has got a very pragmatic, a very realistic approach of building his team. He doesn't look at 10 steps at a time. He takes one step at a time, eventually assesses what's the situation, what is he up against, and from there on, he starts laying the building blocks in place. And accordingly, wherever and whenever he reaches whatsoever obstacle he is up against, he makes the right comment, which eventually narrates the true state of his team. And as he said, that from day one until now, we have grown in stature, we have grown in terms of strength. And that is because of the team coming together. I think this is extremely important, and thanks for pointing it out, Ryan.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And there we are, underway with the finals of the Gujarat Super League Season 2. And once again, welcome to all our viewers watching us live on FIFA Plus and Sportscast India's YouTube channel. My name is Ryan. Alongside me in the commentary box is Rohit Ganguly. And Rohit, here we are, finally underway in this game. Both the teams looking to win their first ever GSL title. And a good start will be important for either of the teams. That opening goal would be so much good for a team to put them in the driving seat in a final.
Absolutely, Ryan. I think it goes without saying because considering the kind of firepower that these two teams have, I think both these teams would be desperate. They would be famished for that opening goal because it can tend to be the catalyst that we so very fondly talk about. So once you get that opening goal in a high octane, in a high stakes battle like this, what eventually happens is that it sets the tone, it blazes a trail, and from there on you can actually take over the reins of the game. Because again, at the end of the day, when we're talking about the finale, we are talking about nerves, we are talking about jitters, and nerves can play a very crucial factor in a match of this stature. But I believe that it's the opening goal that will be of significant importance to both these teams. And for the viewers who are glued onto the frames, just to give you all a quick heads up, attacking on your frame from the left to the right in their signature red, it's the Vadodara Warriors. Even on your frame from the right to the left in their signature yellow, it's Ahmedabad Avengers. And it's the Avengers who comes in with the throw. That's a lovely ball in the box out there. And an incredible blockade. What would you say about this attack, Ryan?
They are emphasizing on what you said, Rohit, that first goal, the significance of it, and they are quite hes to get that first one. And again on the attack through the right, the ball is sent into the box with the defense of the Warriors being as efficient as they always are. Something interesting though, Rohit, I've noticed in all games, almost all games of the GSL season 2, is how the players have adapted something from the higher levels of football as a foul is committed. That is converting the throw-ins into a set piece of sorts where we see the ball thrown directly into the middle of the box in search of one of the players.
Oh, absolutely, Ryan. I mean, I still remember if you actually look back in Indian football, I think there were a few players who started this entire trend. One of them obviously was, if I'm not too mistaken, it was Nalapan Mohanraj. Mohanraj was recently coaching in I League 2. So he was one of those Indians who started with the trend of these long throws coming in. And then the likes of Mehtab Hussain as well, who eventually joined in. Then the foreigners brought in this trend as well. So I think that has now evolutionized into one of those set piece weapons that we talk about, inducing that chaos factor. And that is exactly what we saw at the other end. Right now, it's a free kick whatsoever for the Vadodara Warriors. Let's see if they can make the most of it. Chips it into the box, headed away to safety. Early signs, early warning signs already from both the teams. That's the kind of start that we love to watch in a finale, Ryan.
Definitely, Rohit. And we know the Vadodara side, they have a strong midfield, five of them through their formation that often love to play the ball inside in search of one of their forwards. That's Rohit and Manveer Singh, who are very efficient. They're always ready, waiting for that right opportunity to strike. And they will be doing that now as well, as Bhupinder Singh now weighs himself up for that corner, which is sent into the box once again in search for his teammates, but a little too strong on that. But they will maintain possession.
This is a good start to the game. No wonder we are watching a final. We talk about those excellent introductions, those excellent preambles, and I think we are getting all of it. An early throw, trying to induce a bit of chaos, trying to induce a bit of frenzy in the opposition box is what the Ahmedabad Avengers wanted to see. And at the other end, the Vadodara Warriors responding in kind, responding with interest. And we were also talking about the long throwers, the trend of long throws coming in. I think one name that I missed out, that was of Merajuddin Wadu. Meraj at the same time, I mean, he was playing with Mehtab in Mohun Bagan at one point in time, and both these players, they made a very strong midfield duo. So even Meraj joined forces with Nalapan Mohanraj, and since then, I think Indian football has seen a surge in these new trends. And right now, as we see, even in Gujarat Super League as well, I think we are getting to witness incredible action, incredible high quality maneuvers, which have not just come down from Indian football, but also from international football as well. Another fine run, trying to slam open that shooting lane. That's a lovely forward release, incredible setup from the right, and a very crucial intervention, getting it away. Good start here, Ryan.
A great start. In fact, that's a good ball into the box. A header which wasn't too effective. And if you could hear the crowd there, Rohit, of course, we are live from the Transtadia. That's the popular name, the official name being Eka Arena in Ahmedabad. So, of course, there are a lot more fans for Ahmedabad out there in the stadium. But Vadodara is just a couple of hours away, perhaps an hour, as a whistle is blown. Foul committed there by the attack of the Ahmedabad Avengers.
Well, as you said, Ryan, I think this stadium itself, not just in this game, but throughout the tournament, the kind of electrifying ambience that we have seen, the kind of excellent, belief of the fans, the roar, the pandemonium that we have stayed witness to, I think it also tells you about the evolving fan culture, the evolving fandom of Gujarat football. I think if you remember, Ryan, if you just take a look at the other football clubs in India, I think for Kerala Blasters, it's the Manjapara, for Bengaluru FC, it's West Block Blues, for Mohun Bagan Super Giants, it's the Mariners. So I think the fan culture in India has also evolved alongside the footballing standards, and that is a very good sign. That is a red dawn for Indian football.
Indeed. And I think all those factors did add up to Gujarat becoming what they are today in the overall footballing scenario, having their league of sorts and the introduction of the Gujarat Super League. I think even the expansion of how there are the facilities, numerous facilities across Ahmedabad and several other cities where the turfs are set up. There's very good facilities where players can train and improve the number of tournaments that range from school levels. You see them participating in the final legs of Subroto. So the growth is spectacular, and I'm sure the GSL is going to add on to it. Once again, an attack for the Ahmedabad Avengers into the box, but the defense of the Vadodara Warriors, that is comprising of Premjit, Jenish, and Krupal, always being alert and not letting those sloppy goals come through. And we've noticed that throughout the season, right, Rohit, how the Vadodara Warriors are structured, and that structure starts from the defense being good as a run comes in here.
I think I've been watching Dennis and Rana for a while now. I think it's been for what, the last couple of years that I have been calling quite a few of his teams. He has really evolved. That's an attempt from distance. Then could have been better. Trying to break the defenses that is being cast by Aditya, but he's as confident as ever, standing like the last sentinel of the citadel, and eventually does well to clear that without breaking a sweat. And yes, we were talking about the defense. You were talking about the defense. Given the fact that when you have a 3-5-2 defense, I think the centre back needs to be of imperative, importance. I mean, Jennison Rana, he's a man who has been evolving. He's a man who's grown in terms of his confidence, a man who's learned the ropes in phenomenal fashion. That's not the best of defending there. That is unnecessary. The referee lets it go, and I think the Ahmedabad Avengers, they were right in appealing that, because it could have been a 50-50 chance. The Vadodara Warriors needs to be careful. This kind of careless mistakes can prove to be extremely hefty for them. Another long range comes in. However, this was way off target. Ryan, what would you talk, or rather, what would you say of that defensive howler that we witnessed just a few moments ago?
Or definitely something they cannot afford. Perhaps he did get away with that one. I'm sure one can argue. And the Avengers fans will still be protesting about it, because in a final, it is some of these moments that you go back on. And for Jenish's perspective, I think he just needs to ensure that he doesn't do something similar, because when you do something like that, you're under the narrow eyes of scrutiny when the refs will take a look at your challenges here on in the game. And again, Vadodara trying to quickly engage on the attack, sending the long ball into the forward lines. Coach not too happy with this attempt, though.
Yeah, kind of animated gestures from Salim Pathan. I think obviously at the end of the day in football, what I'm really impressed by the support staff of all the teams is that they've been very passionately involved. I think, yes, you might describe it in whatsoever way you want to, but at the end of the day, what I'm really happy to see is when your support staff supports you that incredibly well, when they are so passionate, when they are so actively involved in this game. I think it also helps you to grow as a footballer. It helps you. That's another foul which has been committed. Not the best of tackles out there. The referee quickly blowing the whistle on that. Taposh Ghosh as well. He's done an incredible job for the Ahmedabad Avengers. So I think when you get so much support from your coaches, your support staff, that also plays a crucial part in helping you evolve as a footballer, helping you grow as a footballer. So it's not just a journey for a particular game or a tournament, it's a journey for life. Won't you say so, Ryan?
Wonderful choice of words. Journey for life. That team aspect is important. And here it was a long free kick. He blasted it inside. That was Asit for the Ahmedabad Avengers. And that is a real good opportunity. The referee suggested that there was a touch from one of the Vadodara players, which is why we have a corner kick coming in. And this could be an interesting one because the Avengers are looking quite dangerous over the last couple of plays. They seem quite composed in getting what they want. This time, they will not immediately get it as the Vadodara team immediately takes care of it, and they will have to get that clearance immediately, but they look to just pass it along their teams. And once again, a change in possession.
That's another unnecessary foul out there. I think you need to be very, very careful in terms of these challenges. You're getting these challenges just outside the box. The position of the challenges as well isn't very, good enough, isn't very promising enough for the Vadodara Warriors. I think there you go. Once again, we'll take a look. Yeah, that clearly was a foul. That was so not needed. At times, you need to rein in that passion, that unwavering spirit of yours, so that you don't end up conceding free kicks in vulnerable junctions. That tends to leave you in a spot of bother. And I think the kind of attacking intent that we have seen from the Ahmedabad Avengers, that is absolutely brilliant. And at the other end, I think Aditya Vagela, he'll have to do a very good job. He's a youngster and he's up against a few of the best stars in the state. Let's see if this free kick can bring about a change in fortunes. How would you call it, Ryan?
Oh, well, I think given the fact that it's an interesting position, anything can happen. The wall is set, but it could be one of those simple crosses into the box. And here comes, it's perhaps a training ground move. He's gone for the grounded pass straight over to one of the Vadodara players to block that shot. And once again, second chance of sorts here, which will be taken care of by the Vadodara defense. Rohit, a good job there.
Very good job indeed. And I think another point that I'd really like to make is so I've seen the Ahmedabad Avengers before, and truth be told, they are a team that initially, fathoms the kind of opposition they are up against. That's another attempt from distance. The idea was okay, the idea was to try and catch the goalkeeper off guard, but it was more hope than conviction, and it was an effort that was entirely taken with the belief in destiny, that if you are destined to have greatness, you will have it in somewhat of a similar fashion. But then you need a lot better execution. You need a lot more clinical accuracy if you have to get your hands on that opening goal of the game. And now getting back to what I was saying, Ryan, I think the one thing that Ahmedabad Avengers usually has done throughout the tournament is they haven't gone for attacks straight away. I mean, from the very first game, they were up against the Kannavati Knights. They initially wanted the Kannavati Knights to attack. Yes, they were extremely solid, extremely resolute in terms of their defensive stature of theirs. But initially, they started growing. They started growing a lot more confident, and they started increasing that attacking quotient, and eventually building on that belligerence. In the second half, they got that all-important opening goal that came from the dreaded spot. So I think in today's game, they are a lot more compact in terms of attack. They are a lot well coordinated. They are very well orchestrated in terms of getting those attacks in place. So I think it's a very good change for a high octane battle like final. And they know that the Vadodara Warriors have got 3 defenders in place. They want to make the most of it by putting in a high line of attack, Ryan.
Great points there, Rohit. And I think that is why we see the Avengers opting for a lot of long distance shots time and again. Already seen a few in this game, and that is a good way to just detach themselves, get a little more free in terms of their options, and try their luck every now and then in a matchup like this one. As for the Vadodara Warriors, they haven't really gotten a lot of short attempts or opportunities of sorts to have a go. And that shows that the Avengers also are closing those gaps, not giving those easy runs that Vadodara often create through their orchestrated passing in the midfield. And here comes the throw in from Krupal. He launches it into the box once again, not able to find his teammate. But another chance off the left. It's grounded into the box, but taken care of by the Avengers defense once again.
Matching each other pound for pound, ounce for ounce, and I think both the teams have come forward so far with more of a tit for tat response. It tells you that how close they are in terms of tactical caliber, in terms of those technical maneuvers. That's an excellent run. Fine ball, floated in, and a perfect intervention coming in just in the nick of time for the Ahmedabad Avengers. Looked like it was Jay Kanani with that crucial intervention. Kakan Tuboy wanted to have a bite at the cherry. Looks like tempers are flaring. And as you saw, Ajmal Eranjikal, he was quick to rush out to his team's aid. He was quick to calm down the tempers. I think a senior player knows a lot about how you can keep things out, how you can keep the nerves in check, because nerves are going to be of a critical factor in a game like this. I've said this before, and I'm going to say this again. The team that will eventually hold on to their nerves till the final whistle is blown are the ones who can eventually come up trumps. There comes the corner, floated in, header, opportunity, still it remains and somehow hasn't been retaliated from the goal line. We'll have to take a closer look. Danger lingers on. The Vadodara Warriors amplifying their attacking quotient. And finally, the Ahmedabad Avengers, they have managed to sneak the ball through. And now they want to launch a counter and a bit of a hefty ball on that occasion. What a brilliant attack, Ryan.
Indeed, Rohit, a brilliant attack, especially the transition from getting that block, which eventually led to that counter attack. Unfortunate for them, they could not come through and get to that last bit. Chabunga made that run, but he had to just be a little faster on that last stretch. Nevertheless, it is positive signs for both the teams. We see here, this was that chance earlier where the Warriors got to the closest of margins. And take a look at this, Rohit. A lot of touches, 3 touches from a player on that one occasion. You would expect one of it to see the back of the net, but the Avengers survived that.
Absolutely, and I think another point that I would really like to make is the man who cleared that attack. That was Mohammad Asrar. His role is to play as that central attacking midfielder. His role is to deliver the payloads when the ball arrives in the opposition half. But the fact that he's gone down in defense, supporting his team and eventually coming up with a goal line clearance tells you about his versatility. Another lovely ball from the right. Could have been better if it would have had a bit of curl. Could have been one of those questions asked to Ajmal Aranjikal, but that was not the case. But I think the versatility of players like Mohammad Asrar, I've seen him scoring as well when his team needed. I've seen him dropping deep in the defense. Also alongside him, the availability of players like Jay Kanani, the likes of Brajesh Yadav, the likes of Chabunga Mitane. I think it adds to the quality of Ahmedabad Avengers. Won't you say so, Ryan?
Definitely, they have what it takes to go all the way. We saw their encounter against the Warriors itself, how structured, how patient they were. So that is a very interesting characteristic to have among all these players. And I think all credit should go to the coach, Mr. Ghosh, for inflicting that sort of mentality, because teams need to learn to be patient. We've had 20 minutes of football, and if the Avengers were in a pedestal where they are impatient, they just want to score the goal, and they played wayward with that intent, that would cause a lot of problems. So the players are composed. They seem to have that sort of match temperament one would need. And I think in today's football, match temperament is one of the most important factors, especially in a final game like this. So that is why we are so well placed with both these teams in the final. And that is why we haven't seen a breakthrough coming through in the first 20 minutes of this match.
I talked about this game being a goal fest, and I even talked about that the aggregate could possibly be 4 to 5 goals. But I think right now, the kind of technicalities that we have seen, another fine ball launched forward, repelled away, and that will go out for a corner. And that is exactly what we were talking about, Ryan. I think both the teams, they have come up with something solid in terms of their attacking quotient, but time and time again they have run into a wall that has been unbreachable, that has been unbreakable. And this is what good football is all about. It's not just about goals, it's about matching each other for every single ounce of that intensity. That I reckon that was an extended hand, and the referee comes up with a yellow card, not the best of signs. Aman Sheikh trying to defend that, might have had his hand dangling from his body, and the ball caught his hand. Not the best of maneuvers out there, Ryan.
Indeed, definitely not. And we can see the fans of the Ahmedabad Avengers. Bit of concern because it's a free kick from a very compromising position at the corner of the box. And it is a good one for Manveer to possibly try and guide it into the back of the net. And also with the option of finding one of his teammates, Akshay is the one receiving the yellow card. That's the confirmation. And here the Warriors stare at a chance, a big chance of sorts, to try and take the lead.
Oh, absolutely. Just from the corner of that box out there, this can be one of those top quality chances, one of those openings that the Vadodara Warriors are looking forward to. And here they come. They've got a couple of options. Oh, what a strike that! And another brilliant save from Ajmal Ranjikal, leaping to perfection and getting a very strong hand to it, fending it away at the expense of a corner.
A wonderful strike. It had the power, had the elevation. It dipped perfectly, but it was the captain Ajmal who's kept his team afloat. But he has to do something similar with his defense. Here comes the corner for Vadodara. There is a punch, and then the defense also blasts it over to the top as they look to go on that counter again. It's back on Vadodara. They look to play it inside, and it takes another deflection out for another corner, Rohit.
Well, what are we witnessing? It looks extremely intense, and I think Ajmal, he made a massive error. The last save that he pulled off from the free kick, I think that was a brilliant save. He got a very strong hand to it. On this corner, however, I think it was a very emasculated touch to the ball that he managed to get. And as a result, I think Vadodara Warriors, they were gifted with a gilt-edged chance. They couldn't make the most of it. They couldn't max it out. But now they have another corner for themselves. And the more number of set pieces that comes their way, I think it's only going to get a lot more tougher for the Avengers. They would not like these set pieces to keep on deluging the horizon, as we can see the fans of the Vadodara Warriors, and we can see the fans of Ahmedabad Avengers as well, and we can see fans of Gujarat football, everyone turning up in numbers. We can't call it a chopper block for sure, but we can definitely call it a full-blown Tuesday encounter, or let's say a full-blown Tuesday blockbuster. What's your take on it, Ryan?
I think you put the right words there, Rohit, especially given how this match has come through in this 25 minutes. We can expect some more drama to give the fans what they're waiting for. And here again, it was a short corner, ball played into the box, and the Avengers containing that sort of attack as well. So I like how the Ahmedabad Avengers have done the right things, especially when they've been put in the tough situations. Those small touches where something goes wrong, it would be a goal. We see the team making those right clearances, playing it out through their defense at the right time. And here a foul will be called against the Vadodara Warriors. Bhupender is not too happy with the call.
Another point, Ryan, that I'd really like to make, that is the Avengers, just a few moments ago, if you take a look, I mean, all the set pieces that we had, Salim Pathan, I think he's done a very good job in terms of set pieces from the free kick to the two corners. And I think even whatsoever crosses have been floated in by the Vadodara Warriors for their attackers to try and pounce upon. Well, this can be trouble. And what a save! What a save! That was a fine chance out there coming in front of the Ahmedabad Avengers, and that should have been buried 6 feet under. However, they couldn't place that. And again, timely save out there from the likes of Aditya Vagela comes to the deliverance of Vadodara Warriors. This is some crazy footballing action that we are witnessing. Some insane individual brilliance, some insane, well orchestrated collective brilliance. We wanted to talk about the technical flair, but I think, Ryan, the players have made it very clear. Let's focus on the presence. The explanation can wait. Won't you say so?
Definitely, I think the gameplay is talking for itself here, and that instance just lets us know that a final like this, both the teams are at their best. It's perhaps going to be that margin of small error. It could be that one small error that defines what is going to happen in this game. As of now, we haven't seen a major error from the goalkeepers, and that shows how important it is for them to be efficient on every instance. Rahul still having his fair share of claims with the ref. Nevertheless, the foul was given in their favor once again. A free kick for the Warriors, Rohit.
Every single time they're having a free kick, I think the heartbeats in the Ahmedabad Avengers camp, they are kind of rising. There's a bit of a spike, and in the last 5 minutes, I think they've got quite a few set pieces. Here's another opening for the Vadodara Warriors. This time they played out to the left. Could have been better control, however, that goes out. And once again, I think the idea was absolutely right. It's just that they couldn't contain. Given the fact that we'll now have the drinks break in place, I think we can finally talk about the tactical point that I was trying to make. Right, so far, if you take a look in the last 5 to 6 minutes, Vadodara Warriors, they have got almost 3 to 4 set pieces for themselves. A couple of free kicks, a couple of corners. And apart from that, I think we have seen quite a few crosses that are being floated by the Vadodara Warriors, and all of them have been met with precision by the strikers up front. On the contrary, I think somehow or the other, Ahmedabad Avengers, their defenders have failed to match Vadodara Warriors in terms of that defensive intent. Because ideally, you need that similar defensive intent. You need towering defenders in place in order to try and thwart your opposition. We'll definitely come back to that. But before that, Ryan, how would you describe the Eka Arena, the drum beats, the fans, the lights? I think Gujarat Super League 2.0 has given us something to remember for life.
Indeed, Rohit, you can take a look at that drum sequence itself. Everybody loving the atmosphere here in the Eka Arena. The Transtadia, I think it is an iconic stadium because we talk about the different type of stadiums we have in India, and if you have to put up one of those stadiums that can handle the international expertise that Indian football would have to offer, I would say Transtadia is definitely up there. It is one of the facilities where we see a lot of international players. Even the Indian football team does come in and have their fair share of training in this facility. And the fact that the Gujarat Super League is being hosted here, it is massive and it has been spectacular. We've not seen injuries of sorts happening to players because of the field, and trust me, in Indian football over the last few years we've seen it happen in many stadiums only because of not having the right sort of turf which is good enough for the players to play, and Transtadia has set the hallmark at a very high level, and we can see it flourishing out in each of these players' games, Rohit.
So I agree with you. Another cross floated in, but I think that was more or less a toothless delivery. And once again, the referee blowing the whistle. The Warriors missing out. And I think you said a very nice point. If India wants to have another stadium in their tally of hosting international matches, I think Trans Stadium definitely has the facilities. Obviously, they'll need a bit of brushing up, but I think the kind of work, the kind of facilities that we have seen in the Gujarat Super League, that is absolutely incredible. And I'm pretty sure AIFF will also be having an eye out here on this league. We have got so many incredible youngsters delivering the payload, the likes of Jenison Rana, the likes of Rohit Chawla as well. Another long ball for the Avengers, and that has been repelled away. For now, still stays with the Warriors. Rather, they want to go forward with a detour on the right. However, not the best of decisions. The idea was okay from Rohit Chawla. I was just talking about him. A very talented player. And more importantly, the kind of workload that I've seen Rohit Chawla taking over the last couple of years, he has only grown from strength to strength. So yes, I think this is actually a good setup. And alongside that, I think the young players who are coming up from Gujarat in very short succession, let's say around 3 to 4 more years from here, we can actually expect a few talented players from the state to eventually ply their trade in the bigger leagues. Let's say I League, I League 2, I League 3 as well. ISL, I won't be surprised if I see a few names in the ISL as well, Ryan.
Indeed, Rohit. I'm sure it's just a few years away, if not very few years. We could see that happening very soon. And now the Avengers again playing it forward, but Aditya Wagela just charges front and quickly discharges it over to his defensive lines. And the Vadodara Warriors now engaging on the attack once again from the middle. It's sent forward through those long balls, something that they often rely on. And here on the far left, he's played it back. They're looking to churn up that triangle move, but possession switches back on with the Avengers. I like how the Avengers don't let the Warriors players on the wings hold on to the ball for too long. They're immediately putting that pressure, forcing the change in possession, Rohit.
Very rightly pointed out, Ryan. I think this is what is needed, because ideally in a finale, you won't let your opposition just walk away with things. You've got to put the pressure on them. You've got to make them work. You've got to make them toil for every single second of possession that they are looking forward to. And if you're not doing that, what you're doing is you are just opening up a leeway for your opposition to walk and attack you, to walk and ask the questions which you should be asking. So I think that very rightly you have pointed out that we have seen some incredible high press action, and the pressure that has been so far mounted upon each other, I think that is incredible. And right now, the midfield that we so fondly talk about in a football game, the conquest of the midfield that can eventually set the tone of the game, I think both the teams have also done a phenomenal job of keeping that in their mind. Right, what do you think? I mean, so far in 35 minutes of action, whom would you eventually place in the driver's seat, or do you think it's still a tie in terms of the tactical brilliance of the teams?
Well, looking at this matchup so far, the Vadodara Warriors are time and again just playing on that one factor where we see the strong midfield. They have 5 players there. That is time and again sending the balls in search of Rohit and Manveer Singh. Of course, we see the defensive lines being involved as well, but they've not gotten a real chance here. Again, they played it over to the left, and again, it is the errors of the defense. As we mentioned, Rohit, that small error, whenever it happens, we see a penetration of sorts coming through for Vadodara. And here again an error from the left side. The cross coming in, the defense quickly takes note of it, and they do clear it. So there we go. The gameplay over the last a minute or so has answered the question, I guess, Rohit.
Well, the Ahmedabad Avengers, I think, yes, their attacking unit is fine, and that is a quintessential example of that, the way he went through that centre field. But it's not just a top-heavy side that wins you tournaments. I think if you have got chinks in your armour, if you have got a very soft underbelly that is being scratched over and over again by your opposition. At one point in time, you give in, at one point in time, you relinquish. So you need to be very, very confident about the defensive unit of yours. And I think the Avengers, they aren't. Another fine delivery that has split the defense as if it was a child's play. I think this is shocking. The start that the Avengers had, it was impressive. And now, the last 10 minutes, the way the Vadodara Warriors have been knocking on the doors, I think if the Warriors, or rather if the Avengers are not able to plug these deficits, these chinks in their armor might just give away to full-blown city sprawling crevasses, and they wouldn't like that. Bhupi on the corner. Let's see if he has got the delivery that can probe the opposition. Delivers in, headed away to safety for now. However, the Warriors, they are relentless in that pursuit of that opening goal. This is some top quality, some gilt-edged gentry of football that we are witnessing from the Red Army.
Indeed, you can notice how Premjit Singh was involved in that last shot taken at the goal. This is a long ball played forward for the Avengers. Nothing much coming out of it as Krupal will wait it out. And Krupal also, being one of the three defenders, has been involved in few of those crosses when they go in on the attack. You see Krupal coming through the wings. So in spite of having three defenders, they're not shy in terms of getting their defenders involved. And the Avengers haven't really gotten their attack going over the last few instances, as you mentioned, Rohit. And it does start from the defense always, all of your attacks. We saw how they got a few good stops on the defense and then the immediate passes leading to an opportunity with the forward lines. But Vadodara is doing that for themselves time and again. This time, that's a wonderful run. The cross goes to one of the Ahmedabad players. The follow-up shot is also blocked. It's still with Vadodara, and they will fancy their chances yet again. This time he contains it, decides to have a go, and a margin of sorts, the smallest of margins, has come into play. And I think Ajmal did save his team from going down there, Rohit.
We can see some tectonic attacking moves out there. That was another fine run from Rohit. A picture perfect setup, and Bhupi wanted to smash it. And I think he's just got his fingertips to that. Yes, the referee has pointed to the corner, but Ajmal Aranjikal, the captain of Ahmedabad Avengers, obviously one of the seasoned warriors for the Avengers, and he's doing a phenomenal job, but his defense needs to respond as well, because the kind of defensive errors that we have seen, the kind of defensive lapses we have seen, I think it's really getting pretty edgy out here. Another corner floated into the box out there, and once again it's Ajmal getting a strong hand to it, palming it away at the other end. Back-to-back corners every single time there's a set piece, Ryan. I think it's not really boding well for the Ahmedabad Avengers. At this point in time, they need someone in that defense of theirs to take the role of a leadership. That is a very good hand. It had a curl of a lifetime, and I mean, had that curled a bit more, we could have witnessed an Olympico as well, Ryan, isn't it?
Indeed. And here once again, a short corner is what they've opted for. Smartly done. A real good opportunity, but a little too strong. Very strong, in fact. And the player's reaction itself says it all. It could have been really dangerous from... Once again, we see the defense lines being equally involved in their attack, which keeps the defense of the Avengers guessing. And here he decided to have a go. Manveer was not too happy about it.
I think the speed factor as well is somewhat playing to the strengths of the Vadodara Warriors. Somehow or the other, the Ahmedabad Avengers, I think their defenders have kind of fallen short in terms of the speed, in terms of the tempo. Because if you take a look, the last corner that we just witnessed, or the few corners that we have witnessed, apart from the brilliant crosses that we have seen in the mix, I think the kind of tenacity, the kind of intensity, and the kind of speed with which the Vadodara Warriors have penetrated over and over again, that's kind of leaving Ahmedabad Avengers on a bit of an alarm, and they are barely able to close down the gap between themselves and the opposition Marauders. So they really need to be careful, because if they are unable to close the gaps, this can be another fine chance. Trying to countervail, trying to dash through the center field out there. The Vadodara Warriors, do they have the space for themselves? Nice setup towards the right, keeps it under control. Rohit scanning the perimeter for more resources, finds out a bit of support. Another cross along the carpet delivered, but nicely taken care of. Now that is what your defense should be. You should have someone, you should have a general. That's another thumping clearance. And more than a clearance, that was more of a statement out there from Jay Kanani, that you will not infiltrate our defenses so easily. You have to work your way up. No matter whatsoever you have done until now, you will still have to go all guns blazing in order to disintegrate those defenses of ours, Ryan.
Indeed, I think the Avengers, given the fact that the war have more of the momentum, they need to take use of every chance here. They've created something for themselves. He's had to go from distance, and it's Aditya Vaghela, the young lad, once again, with his reflexes that saved his team all of a sudden. And this tends to happen in football, Rohit, when one team is constantly attacking. All of a sudden, one opportunity is all it takes for the opposition, and that's exactly what the Avengers had for themselves. And this wonderful shot from Akshay Maul has been contained by Aditya.
Ryan, I'll tell you what, this game, if you have seen those, disaster movies where possibly it could have been a Dwayne Johnson starrer, I think this game is more like that compass just ahead of that earthquake or that massive avalanche. It keeps on pulsating. It keeps on pulsating with the sparks, with those embers, and you never know which way the compass is gonna point to. It keeps on throbbing and pulsating with thrills and excitement. What a match! It's kind of oscillating from one hemisphere to the other, from one tectonic plate to the other, and we can have a cataclysm shaking us up at any point in time. What a game! Corner for the Avengers, delivered, headed away to safety. Another chance. The second ball, however, goes a million miles wide. This is a good footballing game. This is a game worthy of the word finale.
I think that's a good eye-opener also for the Vadodara Warriors to not be too comfortable on the attacking pedestal, because they were, of course, taking charge, calling the shots, and all of a sudden we saw how the Avengers created something for themselves. Here, Vadodara Warriors, it's a weak ball through the left, played into the box, and again a change in possession. He decides to have a go, and it's way over the post. And the frustration kicks in for the Warriors. They will be thinking that they should be up already, given the number of times they've had successful runs toward the box. And for the Avengers, they will be thinking, why are so many opportunities being leaked over to the opposition? Because every single time the Vadodara Warriors come in on the attack, they either have a shot at the goal or they are creating a chance.
Ryan, I'm absolutely loving this game. I mean, this is the true essence of final that we talk about. This game has it all. Both the teams, the way they have attacked, this hasn't been a cagey affair. Yes, we might not have had a goal so far, but then the tactical brilliance, the attacks, the wave of attacks, the kind of set pieces, the kind of shots that we have seen, that is what high quality football looks like. Another corner, another set piece for the Vadodara Warriors. And I think the way these two teams have reacted, they haven't waited for a second opportunity. The moment they have spotted even an iota of space, they have gone for those long ranges. They have taken those shots. And that is like throwing a question straight away at the face of your opposition. It's like asking them that, do you have it what it takes to stop the sudden flash? So it has been an incredible exchange. Corner floated into the box. Opportunity headed away at the second post. It's getting extremely hot in here. It's getting extremely nervy in here. 4 minutes of additional time after the first half. But these 4 minutes can prove to be light years for both the teams. This is a game supreme, Ryan.
Indeed. And a big question there again. How can you leave Manveer Singh Deol unmarked? He got a clear header. His reaction suggests that that one should have gone through the keeper into the back of the net. And that raises questions on how the Avengers should be containing such instances. Here they overplay on the attack, and nothing much will come out of it. And speaking of Manveer Singh, I've noted in this game, Rohit, he's been in good positions. He's given a few balls wide to the wings, which has created chances, a lot of openings as well. And that is an ideal striker of sorts that any team would want to have.
I totally agree with you, Ryan. I think when you have a predator in the mix, that's a fine run. From the left, looks like the referee will have to blow his whistle there. He's got his hands in the pocket, the card's out as well. No mercy, says the referee. That's not the best of tackles. And you've got to bear the brunt of it. Krupal Lakhotra being taken in the referee's books out there. And it was, in all possibility, Jay Kanani. Yes, it was Jay Kanani who was scooting down that left wing, hoping to get in another one of those brilliant crosses. We'll take a look at that. There you go. Take a look at Jay Kanani speeding past his marker. And when he starts speeding, I think it's very difficult for his defender to try and contain him. And Krupal Lakhotra, he didn't really have too many options. He had to come in with that tackle. He had to take one for the team. And here's a chance for the Ahmedabad Avengers. Here's an opportunity for them to try and make the most out of this free kick. Let's see if they can use this as a springboard to try and deliver one of those goal-scoring chances. Looks like they've played it along the carpet. A square ball. They'll take their time trying to knit it forward. And a timely intervention there from the Warriors will see it off at the expense of a throw-in, Ryan.
Yeah, he could have done better there. He quickly apologized to his teammates for that, because it does give the benefit of doubt to the Avengers, especially this being the dying minutes. Of course, 4 minutes added on, were somewhere around that mark. And it's thrown into the box, taken care of by the defense, and they do the rightful thing of clearing it forward. And a chance perhaps for the Warriors. They still have possession. They can create something out of this unless the referee decides to stop it. He's waved play on. Of course, a few seconds will be added on along with that 4 minutes. The Warriors can perhaps have a go in a certain way, or they will have to wait. Yes, they will, along with all of us, for a goal, because here in the finals, at the end of the first 45 minutes, it is even Stevens. Nothing to take away for both the teams. Both have had their fair share of chances, perhaps more for the Warriors. But Rohit, the first half has been enthralling, as we could expect.
End of first half, the score says 0-0 for
Oh,
both
absolutely, Ryan. It has been way more than enthralling. Believe me, I have got so many words that I would like to put around here, but I think I would like to hold it back for the second half as well. If this is what the first half had to offer, I'm pretty sure the second half is going to be a far more enticing. Well, ladies and gentlemen, me and Ryan James will get into a short breather now, and we'll be back for the second half. Stay tuned, everyone. Do not forget to catch the highlights on your way out. We'll see you in a short flash. Hello, everyone. We are back for the second half of the grand finale. What a first half it has been between the Vadodara Warriors and the Ahmedabad Avengers. Well, of course, it goes without saying that the Vadodara Warriors they had the accelerator pressed until that last or until that late end of that first half, and the Ahmedabad Avengers they were more or less reeling. However, do not mistake them. I said this before that the Ahmedabad Avengers they are more of a soaking the pressure type team. So they will weather that early storm, and then in the second half, once that 70-minute, the 65-minute mark has eventually passed on the ticker, they will start hitting you back in the strongest of fashions. As we can see, the two teams huddling for one final time on the split screen in your frame. Joining me in the commentary box to lend his voice and his wonderful insights is Ryan James. Welcome back, Ryan.
Hey there, Rohit. Hey there. Welcome, Gujarat football fans and supporters of Indian football. This being a final game, I think, Rohit, you covered the bases there in taking us through what happened in the first. And I think adding on to what the Avengers have in their armory is that they are very lethal on their attack. If you look at the handful of instances when they've gotten a chance to go on the attack, they were effective. They were quality attacks. They were quality shots, which put Aditya Waghela to test. So I think this game, as you mentioned, Rohit, is going to be all about nerve and how much of that high level football both the teams can play, because 45 minutes of football has been played. The players are very down up until a certain extent, and how they keep themselves up at that level is going to be very important as the second half is officially underway and the Avengers will have their go from the very first minute. As we saw in the first half of this game, here in the second they do something similar but can't get it further into the box.
Well, absolutely. I think, yes, you very rightly summed it up. Truth be told, they have done everything they could. But at the end of the day, it's not about just penetrating, it's not just about good football or the kind of domination that you might have on your opposition. It's about how you are going to get the goal in place. I mean, you can have all the artistic football in the world, you can have all the control and whatnot. But at the end of the day, if you fail to breach the defenses, if you fail to cross that goal line, I think all that good work, all that brilliance that you have, all that quality that we talked about, it would take a backseat. Because eventually, winner and the fate of the crown is decided by who gets the ultimate goal. So, yes, a long way to go. 45 minutes of intense action, 45 minutes of exciting, exhilarating rivalry to unfurl ahead of us. And we would hope that these two teams come forth with the most incredible action. Corner for the Ahmedabad Avengers. Let's see what they have got in store, Ryan.
Yeah, we saw most of the corners in the first in favor of the Vadodara Warriors. Now one for the Avengers to start the second off with. And again, the Warriors defense quickly taking note of what to do. And I see a relatively slower start here in terms of moving the ball around. The overall pace of the game, it does pick up as we saw in the first half. And here again, the defense of Warriors being sharp, not so in this instance as it's played out for a throw-in.
I think it has been more of a bumpy start to the second half. The Ahmedabad Avengers, they are trying to make the most of that early storm that we talk about, the early tempest, because at the end of the day, a lot would depend on how they start the second half. Because it's understandable that things didn't really pan out in their favor towards the end of the first half. They were reeling in the incessant pressure that was mounted on them by the Vadodara Warriors. But I think it's important that they try and snatch the momentum in their sails. It's extremely important that with whom the momentum is siding, because it's eventually the momentum that will decide the fate of this game. The team that gets a bit of a head start in terms of momentum, might just have that opening goal. Another one of those long throws from the Avengers headed away. There's chaos in the box and there's ample traffic congestion as well. But eventually, the Warriors, they do a fine job of fending away another opportunity. And this man, watch out for him. Mohammad Asrar, he's an absolute predator in the mix and he can pull off anything. He's such an excellent, such a prolific striker. Once again, headed away to safety. Will we see the second ball being pounded towards the goal? Mohammad Asrar has it in control, but it was at his weak foot, Ryan. Oh, that's a lovely chance out there. Palmed away just in the nick of time. I'm so sorry, Ryan. I'll let you take over from there.
No worries, my friend. It was a crisping moment as well. And that is why it has led to a corner kick. And this is the replay. This was that long, powerful ball sent in. It was very well placed. The keeper had to put himself in that position and given that chance. And now he will be alert along with his colleagues. Here comes the corner kick once again. The heads came in, but there was no connection in any manner. It's still with the Ahmedabad Avengers. Once again played into the box. Again, the defense of Vadodara Warriors have had a rather weak start in terms of getting these clearances away. It is important to have those quality clearances the way you take care of these instances. Nevertheless, it is what it is. They have a corner kick to defend once again, Rohit.
Well, looks like things have just flipped around. We were kind of seeing similar scenes at the other end in the first half. It was the Warriors, and now it's the Avengers. Another fine corner floated in and headed away. You know, it more or less feels like we are seeing somewhat of the Avengers Infinity War in the first half, where the Avengers were actually at the receiving end of Thanos' full-blown catastrophe. And in Avengers Endgame, they regrouped, they came together, and they killed Thanos once and eventually went on to defeat him twice. I'm not going to talk about that, but what I'm trying to say is that the second half we have seen the Avengers in very good shape, in very good nick. However, the Warriors quickly retaliating, quickly coming up with a strong riposte and a corner in their favor as well, Ryan.
Oh, that's a good reference you've given there. Not too sure how much of the Vadodara fans would be happy being given the Thanos side of things, but let's see what the ultimate end game is going to be for this matchup. You did mention the rivalry. There are already existing rivalries which I will take you through between these two cities. Here comes the corner. Keeper off his lines will punch it forward. It's still with the Warriors. He decides to have a go on the volley and he's blasted that way off over the post, and the Avengers will survive that.
This man, I think he definitely holds the key, Asrar. If the Avengers, they have to get their goal in place, they'll need a bunch of those attackers who should be in place to knit together the perfect symphony. And Asrar can very well be the conductor, spearheading the charge. Again, not the best of defensive maneuvers. However, Avengers, they snatch it back and now they try and dash through that center field there. Good quality football. Quickly scanning around the perimeter to hold possession of the ball. However, the splitting ball that they were looking forward to, that was lost in translation. Good interception. And now trying to show out their attacking flair. It was the Warriors trying to countervail, but they have been met with by stern resistance from the Avengers, Ryan.
Rightly so, and they are just right now regrouping before launching their next attack, perhaps on the Warriors. And I did mention about how there are already existing rivalries of sorts. Of course, Gujaratis love their food, Rohit, and I think Ahmedabad street food, when you think of it, you have the dhoklas, the khamans, Fafda jalebi, of course, and Vadodara has equal competitors with the Sriracha paneer, the mango cheese samosa, the dahi bala chaat. So it is quite out there that, Ahmedabad is more of straight up Gujarati heritage, and Vadodara is a mix of heritages that has diverse culinary sense and fusion dishes coming in. So that is the food aspect of things, apart from the football sense.
Ryan, I'm pretty sure you have tickled my taste buds out there. I mean, come on, the kind of foods that you talked about, they're pretty dear to me as well. And at the same time, I'm pretty sure the viewers who are listening to this, I think they would like to quickly take a look at their diet charts. And if possible, they'll get a few delicacies, a few culinary delicacies of their own on their table while watching such an intriguing game. I mean, obviously, if you're witnessing football unfurl at its majestic, apart from all the cheering, all the loud supporting that you do, obviously, I mean, if you come up, your state comes up with so many good culinary delicacies that you can definitely get them on your platter as well while cheering for your favorite team. Why not? But yes, talking about fusion and talking about the heritage, I think even in the game style, if you take a look at, I think fusion reigns supreme for both the teams because, like the way both the coaches talked about how the players who have come from the outer states have very nicely blended in with the players in the from the states out there, and at the same time talking about heritage, I think one of the primary focuses that Gujarat Super League has kind of provided in both the editions, in both the iterations, is that they have given a platform to the youngsters of the state. So I think, given the fact that this tournament is being broadcasted globally, it gives them a chance. It gives these youngsters an opportunity, a platform to showcase their talent to the world and eventually watch their own game as well. That's a mistake just outside the box and trying to get across in place. But again, quality defending there. So, yes, getting back to the point, Ryan, I think that's a free kick that will be awarded. And yes, the referee's blown the whistle. That clearly was a tackle. He will be lucky to escape without a card. And yes, the referee just having a chat with Dharmesh out there, possibly a verbal admonition. But I think he'll make it very clear that next time onwards, I won't hesitate. And yes, so yeah, getting back to the point, Ryan, I'm sorry that I'm stretching it out so long, but I think you have very nicely summed it up in a metaphorical sense. And these two teams have been serving fusion and heritage in terms of their team strength, in terms of their footballing tacticalities on the ground itself.
Thank you, Rohit. Very well put there. Wonderful choice of words to explain how those factors are applicable to both these teams here. And now, once again, it is an error in change of possession that has led to another attack for the Vadodara Warriors. The previous one was well structured. This one is a good ball into the box, but the keeper took note of it. And also a foul will be called against Manvir. He's not too happy, but more importantly, Rohit, this is another instance where we're seeing a sloppy pass leading to a chance created for the Vadodara Warriors.
Yeah, I think those small errors that's happening out there that is allowing the Vadodara Warriors to come forward with those fine defense splitting deliveries that needs to stop because it's happening over and over again. And these small modulations, these small tweaks, it can eventually turn out into something explosive. And they wouldn't want that. The Avengers, they played good football in the second half. The Warriors, yes, they are coming up with attacking instinct of their own. Another fine ball and an opportunity to try and pound it home from point blank range. But kudos to the defender, closing down that attacking leeway in a flash, in a split second. That is quality defending out there, retaliating exactly in the way it should have been.
Well, football is also about being at the right place at the right time. To boy will be thinking he was there at the right place at the right time. Perhaps what could he have done different there? That is what they would be thinking. So close once again, but the last three possessions for the Vadodara Warriors have been of top quality. We are seeing them going through the right again and again, and then crossing the ball into the box in their search of that first goal. And just like the first half, they've settled in to the second half. No whistle there. Play on, says the referee. And once again, not much of clarity between the defenders on what they're trying to do for the Ahmedabad Avengers all of a sudden. And the Warriors trying to make use of it in every possible manner. Now comes a throw in, one of those set piece type throw ins we spoke about, Rohit.
Yeah, one of those long hits out there in the box. Let's see if it can get its desired result and opportunity for sure. And that was steered in front of the goal. However, it didn't really get the kind of ripples that it was trying to create. And it eventually went out for a corner. So danger still not over. The Vadodara Warriors, they keep on coming forward over and over again. Rupinder Singh, he will be planning to whip in something of substance out there. He's got a couple of players in the mix. Let's see if that can bring about. Find a corner at the far post. Possession stays alive for the Warriors. They're peaking their time, trying to get into the box out there. A bit of a heavy first touch. However, looks like another offense has been committed. A quick word of apology coming in from the big man there. Aman Sheikh needs to be a bit careful. A few moments ago came up with a solid deflection that resulted in a corner at the other end, and now it's a free kick from a very good position. Once again, the alarm signs, the alarms are going off over and over again in the defensive unit of Ahmedabad Avengers. Where do you think, Ryan, are they going wrong over and over again?
Oh, well, Rohit, I think it is just the fact that they are struggling in terms of switching from defense to offense. And I think the Vadodara Warriors are also pressing constantly, which is not allowing the Ahmedabad Avengers to find that space or that gap which would allow them to escape after containing an attack. And given how the Vadodara Warriors have again gone on a run of creating chances for themselves, we've seen them do this in the first half multiple times. They would want to see this one through. This is, of course, the 60-minute mark. We are two-thirds done with the match. And Bhupinder Singh, who's been sending in a lot of balls into the box, will hope that this could be the ideal one. And we saw a lot of pushing happening in the box. The referee, of course, takes note of it and lets the players know that it is important to keep a clean game. And here is that chance for Bhupinder Singh to find one of his teammates. Here comes the ball, but he finds one of the yellow t-shirts. It's still in play, still a chance, unless the Avengers can clear it and head forward through. What are your thoughts on that chance, Rohit?
Well, that definitely had a good hint of precision out there. Oh, that is so not needed. That is not needed. This has been a good game of football. Unnecessary. He's taken the yellow card. That was so not needed out there. Rahul Rawat, I think he lost his calm. It's understandable. I'm pretty sure he must have felt a push out there. And for that split second, he went that this was so not needed for my end as well. And he wanted to retaliate. And the retaliation resulted in him being booked. I think in the final, we'll get back to that attack, Ryan. But in a final, you never know what can happen. Things can go horribly wrong for you. There again, let's take a look out there. Rahul, yes, understandable. He was brought down. And that was also not needed. But I think he also lost control of himself. Rahul could have avoided that. But at the end of the day, all these small things, it can accumulate into something bigger. 30 minutes of football still on the ticker remaining. And we'll have our first change. Swaraja Dwivedi. He's an excellent player. The fact that he was on the bench was kind of a question mark for me. He's going to replace Sheikhanlal Toboy. He's coming on, and this can really be even tougher signs for the Ahmedabad Avengers. He's got a brilliant bit of speed to himself and the kind of finishing instinct that he comes on with. That is absolutely sensational. The Warriors with the free kick goes for a flatter one and nicely repelled away by the Avengers, Ryan.
And here they are creating something for themselves. It is 3-on-2. All the defenders come in on the recovery, but he has wasted that opportunity. He is down as well. and play on will be the note from the referee unless he decides to stop play. The possession is with the opposition, and unless the ball is played out or stopped, we will not check up on that player. A foul committed, and that real chance, Rohit, it was 3-on-2 for a brief moment, and then the Avengers again just have a counter attacking move which they are not able to capitalize on.
Well, this is what football is all about. I think you have to take your chances. He lost his shape out there and he wanted to go for that outside step of his boot there, trying to convert that from kind of a difficult angle. I think at times you don't always need to rush, you need to have the confidence in yourself to try and control the move. This can be very painful. I think he's twisted his ankle as well on that occasion. And ideally, when you are on the run and you're twisting your ankle on the run itself, there are high possibilities that he might not be able to continue because it has a significant impact. Once again, let's take a look at that corner there. Fine corner and headed towards the goal, asking all the right questions. And then you were talking about this intervention there. Kept his calm, kept his eyes on the ball. Both the teams, the way they have matched each other in terms of that attacking quotient, that has been absolutely brilliant. This is where the captain of the Avengers, he lost that ball out there. The referee had to, and that was another fine chance. A very good defensive maneuver from Aman Sheikh, denying to Boy a shy at goal. Too many guests out there, very special people gracing us with their hallowed presence. I think this is one of those moments where all these guests as well are enjoying the game, and so are the players. And I think the presence of these players and these guests out there are incredibly important. Looks like he's going to be back on the yard. Let's see if he continues further action, Ryan.
Oh yes, and now Tutan Das once again wastes that opportunity that the Warriors had. Quickly apologizes. But I think that substitution is going to be very interesting for Vadodara. It's probably a make or break one in a certain way because Tuboy is the one who was substituted for Swaraj, and Tuboy was one of those players who was taking pressure of Rohit and Manveer Singh time and again by using the fact that the defenders were concentrating on them. He would get himself into good positions to try and cross the ball or even take shots. So Swaraj has big shoes to fill, and that could be an interesting point in this matchup to see how it unfurls for the Warriors, who now are losing that flair in some way or the other in terms of getting those back-to-back chances on the attack.
Well, as Taposh Ghosh pointed out, I think another yellow card's coming up. And this time, it is Dharmesh Parmar, the man who has been booked. Tempers are starting to flare, and this game, what was, I would say, an effusive eloquence altogether. I mean, the way the ball was flowing, the way the attacks were being forged, it was simply brilliant. Second half, it has seen quite a few bumps along the way, and with the tempers rising, with the temperament rising, I think now questions are being asked. They need to be careful. And yes, you were talking about the change that happened. Swaraj Dwivedi coming in place of Tuboy. Yes, you're right. Tuboy definitely is a very quick player. I think I also mentioned that Swaraja, he's got some speed of his as well. But apart from that speed of his, the best part about Swaraja is that he's extremely flexible. So any role that you want him to play, he can do that for you. However, right now the Avengers, they've got one of those long throws, another one of those set pieces that we very frequently talk about. So yes, I mean that's quite a long run up for the throw, almost in from the runway, we must say. However, headed away to safety for another throw in. So looks like the Avengers, they will continue taking that route of theirs, trying to multiply, trying to magnify those chances that they are so desperately seeking for. Another long run up, another one of those long throws, Ryan. Let's see if it can break the ice in terms of goals being scored.
Foul there committed. Of course, he stretched his arm out, extended arm, making contact with the defender, which was identified by the referee. And the Avengers not able to do something off that throw in, switching the onus back on Premjit Singh along with the other defenders of the Vadodara Warriors. They are quite good when they start off from the very back, but this time we saw them launch it all the way into the opposition box in search of an attacking move that was initiated. But it's going to be once again a throw in this time for the Vadodara Warriors, Rohit.
Well, the Warriors, they're coming closer, yes, but again, for both the teams, I think what has been missing is the sting, the attacking intent. Somehow or the other, things have really disintegrated every single time they have come close. Another fine cross towards that second post, and surprisingly, it eludes everyone. Could have been one of those opportunities for the Vadodara Warriors if they would have been slightly alert out there. And Bhupinder Singh, he knew what he was doing. Fine ball, and things didn't really pan out in the way they wanted to. Ryan, I think as far as the game goes, we have seen very few changes, but there are a few intriguing names on that substitution list on the bench for both the teams. The likes of Sumit Patidar, well, the referee's blown the whistle, another free kick awarded, and another verbal admonition out there. Needs to be slightly more careful in terms of those tackles. Jay Kanani brought down, he can be a very tricky contender. The kind of mercurial element that he's got, he's a very capricious midfielder. The way he twists and twirls, running rings around the opposition, that is absolutely mind-boggling. So at times the defenders have to come up with those tackles and take one for the team in order to try and stall the advancement of Jay Kanani. Another good collection there by Aditya, straight into his hands, Ryan.
Now we're at the 70-minute mark, which means we have 20 minutes of football remaining. Of course, a few minutes to be added on. And this being a final, it is important to keep their nerves up over the next 20. He decided to have a go searching for that far post on a curving ball. It was way over the top to not test the keeper. And the audience watching the game live on FIFA Plus and Sportscast, along with the audience watching the game live at Eka Arena, will definitely be in that anticipatory stage in a football game where you're crossing the 70-minute mark and no goal has come through. And you know that in a matchup like this, the last 20 minutes, this could be the time where teams go all out and give it that extra 20 apart from that 100% commitment that they have to a final. This is a good move for the Avengers. Not too tall to get to that, but from the left, they will win a corner out of this attack, Rohit.
Substitution
Oh, absolutely, it's getting tense out there, and looks like we'll have another change. We were talking about tensions out, and we were talking about changes, and it's going to be Tufel Hingora who's going to come in place of Bam Miteng. So I think that's another like-for-like change. Yes, Bam Miteng, he had a decent game, but somehow or the other they will need fresh faces. We'll take a look at the attack once again. Lovely ball on towards the right, and the final touch coming off. Here comes the corner, floated in, headed away by the Warriors. The Warriors are relentless, and the Avengers as well. They want that goal. The hunger is very, very palpable, but I think the execution could have been better, could have been a million times better. And here they have some space. Fine ball sent forward, but again, kind of rudderless because they didn't have anyone trying to track it, trying to map it, trying to go for that all-important shot towards the goal. And until and unless that final precision strike comes in, with every succeeding minute, with every passing minute, both these teams, they will get a lot more desperate, they will get a lot more frustrated. So I think it's important that you start compounding the attacking intent of yours, get in those final touches, get a bit more control, and try and breach the opposition defense, Ryan?
Definitely. Think it's pretty simple now. Both the teams are perhaps one silly error away or one brilliant pass away from finding that breakthrough goal. And the question is, will we see it in relegation time here in this matchup, given how it has unfurled? It is a question that we will all have. Meanwhile, the players will recharge themselves in this hydration break and try to get back with some more energy and give it all they've got, because we are headed towards the last 15 odd minutes of the Gujarat Super League Season 2, Rohit, and what a great campaign it has been in Season 2. We've gotten to see a lot of growth, a lot of development, and a lot more of tremendous action.
Well, you very rightly pointed that out, Ryan. I mean, I am absolutely in agreement with you. I think it's the second iteration, as they say. It was bigger, it was better, it was bolder, and it had plenty of goals. So yes, I mean, this edition, this second coming of the tournament has had the fans hooked onto the screens. The quality of football has been absolutely sensational, and more importantly, I think this also ushers a blood-red dawn for the footballers of the state. It is mind-blowing, it is sensational, and more importantly, in a word, it is what we call phenomenal. However, talking about phenomenal, do we have a phenom taking center stage here? Do we have a phenomena unfurling ahead of us? Do we witness a crazy strike rattling the back of the net? 15 minutes of regulation time and whatsoever gets added on will have the answer. What do you think, Ryan? Where is this game headed?
Oh my word. I still feel there is something interesting that's written up for this matchup. Perhaps here, Warriors come down through the left, and that's played out for a corner kick. The Avengers defense quickly acting on that issue. And here, one goal can entirely change the dynamic, because that 1-0 lead will make the team trailing play all out. That is, commit those small errors, try those risky instances with some of their skills. A lot can happen. Question is, we need that first goal. Here comes the corner kick once again for the Warriors. The header just hits the side net, and that is as close as we can get, perhaps, Rohit.
Well, truth be told, I think a lot is still unfurling, and at times it's getting difficult for us as well. The kind of intensity with which the attacks are unfurling, I mean, it has been absolutely brilliant. Looks like the referee wants to have a chat. Is it a yellow card there for Ajmal? Well, looks like it's a verbal warning for sure. Let's not waste time. And for the ones who are wondering, this game, if it remains at a deadlock at the end of 90 minutes of football, we will go straight into a tiebreaker. There's no extra time that's gonna happen. We will have penalties. So yes, stay tuned. There's still a lot of thrill to unfurl. Fine delivery from the right, and an opportunity for the Avengers goes begging. Time and time again, the probes are now being sent from both the flanks, and both the teams are answering those questions. And the answers are bringing us closer to the net, Ryan. Won't you say it's getting a lot hotter than it already is, because the Indian summer is unfurling? My goodness! That would have been an extraterrestrial strike out there. A fine knuckleball taking a curl. It just lacked an element of dip. We would have seen an absolute wonder strike decorating the finals. Ryan, over to you.
Definitely, it is some of these moments that's giving us a bit of belief that something spectacular is still in the charts. And I'm sure, irrespective of which team wins, that will be a spectacular moment given the fact that they've done well through the entire course of the league. And that was a real good chance for the Avengers. The clock is ticking down. And as you mentioned, the players also will be very aware, the coach will be aware of the fact that it will head in straight to the penalty shootout soon after this. So it allows them to think from two perspectives, because in a traditional football game, you're thinking, all right, 30 more minutes of football and then penalties. So you don't have to think about penalty shootouts immediately. But here, the thought process will start early on, because you need to prepare the goalkeeper, you need to prepare the five players. Sometimes you see the substitutions also being made at the very end to accommodate a few more specialists who can have a go from the spot. So technicalities once again, Rohit, in a final matchup.
Ryan, I think I've just received communication that no, it's not going to be penalty. It's going to be the normal extra time that we have. So I think there was a bit of mismatch in communications. So yeah, it will be a normal extra time, 15 minutes, a half extra time at both ends, before which we get into the penalty. So yes, I mean, still going by your point, even if there is extra time, I think you still need to think about the necessary reinforcements, because ideally what happens is when this game starts getting extended towards the end, you have to think about what are the necessary reinforcements in personnel that you will get in place. In today's footballing world, we have got five substitutions, all right, which has to be brought in three slots. But who are the five players that you will get in? Or do you actually go forward with the substitution? Or do you think that your players have got the necessary technical caliber to continue those 120 minutes? And in that 120 minutes, now there's another interesting point to it. So you were talking about penalties, right? So now that we know that there will be 30 minutes of additional football if this game remains tied at the end of 90 minutes, then what happens is, then you start thinking that, do you bring on the changes towards the end of that extra time and you get people in who can actually help you in terms of tiebreaker, or do you actually want to kill the game in the 30 minutes itself? You get in those proficient players who has the ability to try and catch your opposition out of breath in the remaining 30 minutes. So yes, believe me, it's a full blown maze of questions, and we will need these answers, and for these answers we'll have to wait, Ryan.
I agree. And because this is football, we have to give it the remaining time as well. That is 9 minutes, and the time to be added on before going that way, because we still know that given how these teams have played, something can still happen that makes us decide to not go that road of a 120-minute game. And I'm sure both the teams would avoid that, because they've not tested themselves in a situation like that. It's all been 90-minute games for both these sides, and you can see that is why the substitutes will be considered now itself, because even if they head into that 120-minute mark, you have relatively fresh legs that can be of the 100% efficiency that they would want at this point. Here are the Warriors again trying to engage on those give and goes, those quick passes that they have fluidly gotten in the entire game. But this being the last 10 is a little slow as it is.
And I'll tell you what, I mean, the fact that now we still haven't seen that first goal. I mean, obviously it's a reflection of how good these teams are. They have been brilliant, they have been sensational. But with that being said as well, I think the fact that we are going to have added minutes, it opens up a multiverse of possibilities to these players, to these teams. And also, it opens up a Pandora's box of questions which they'll have to come up, or which they'll have to answer at the earliest possible moment. Because if they don't, then their opposition will be at an upper hand. So, do they go for the players at the end of the extra time? Well, that's another fine ball in the box headed away. So do they go for the players at the end of that extra time so that they can have the necessary personnel in place for the tiebreaker if needed? Or do they bring in fresh legs in the extra time itself so that they can have the necessary players in place to try and kill the game in those 120 minutes? So, yes, it is a maze of questions. It is an absolute, what would I say, an enjoying affair that we can talk about. And most importantly, I think now, more than the players, it all turns to the coaches. What are their calls going to be? What should their tactical decision should be? And how are they going to convey that to the players about duking it out or about dishing it out in the remaining 30 minutes? That's another fine ball somehow repelled away. Danger still stays alive, and finally the Avengers have gotten their say run.
Good chance for Vadodara earlier. They're looking to create something similar. It was a good move earlier, a weaving movement between the players where that pass was made and then he cut through from behind to get that long ball. So they are trying to play smart and they will hope that something similar can give them a better chance. Here it's into the box. The header once again is clear of the goal, not putting the keeper to test. And the Warriors looking to finish this last 10 minutes with the similar set of runs, Rohit.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the intensity will be at an all-time high. In fact, it won't be wrong if we say that the intensity would possibly be near to the peak in the last few minutes of regulation time and whatsoever gets added on. So let's say 10 minutes overall. Because I think both the teams, it's very exhausting to have 120 minutes of action. And the problem is, I'll tell you what, that none of these teams are used to playing the 120 minutes because the group stages, they didn't have a tiebreaker, they didn't have 120 minutes. So this is new territories for them. And suddenly, if you decide to let your guard down for a split second in football, you might be staring down a leaky barrel, which you wouldn't want. So it gets into a completely new chapter for them, and they will have to come up with something solid, something concrete in order to try and fend off their opposition in whichsoever way possible. You want to take the defensive route, good enough for you. You want to take the attacking route, good enough for you. But all of this comes with that question: how much of gas you have left or you are left with in that tank of yours through which you can attack, through which you can try and mount those challenges on your counterpart, Ryan.
You can see the wariness on the players after playing these 90 minutes being a final game. They've given that extra bit of effort. Still, they got to keep it on that same intensity. That's well played into the box. No recipient of that first ball inside, which was played over to the middle, and the foul committed there against the Vadodara players. They're not too happy with the decision as the player is down. We still have time as both the teams are in a certain way trying to just play the slower side of a game. Vadodara especially are trying to do otherwise in terms of going in on the attack.
Another free kick out here for the Avengers. Let's see if they have got what it takes to come up with some late moment drama. They've done it before in the very first match that they played against the Kanavati Knights, the defending champions. It was a late strike from the spot that won them the all-important victory. The question is, can they come up with a dead ringer of the same? Can they replicate the heroics? Asrar, the goal scorer from the game, now has the ball. Still looking for some space. That's quality. Gets past his marker, trying to get the ball in the box there. And a very staunch clearance as well. Repelled away for a corner. Over and over again. Now the Avengers as well, they have got their eyes set on the prize. There you go. Trying to go for those step overs. And a very timely release out there through the gates of the defender. Corner. Another set piece. Another opportunity for Asrar. to make the most of, takes it along the carpet. And a delicate chip could have been trouble. It definitely had a dipping factor to it. However, it didn't dip in time, and hence it's all fair and square still at the Eka Arena, the Trans Stadia.
Couple more minutes, 120 seconds before the fourth official signals how much of time will be added on, which means we will know how many more minutes can lead to chances that can perhaps lead to a goal. Here are the Warriors looking to play that into the box. Find one of the Avengers players on the defense. And here you can see that between the crowds, they know that these are the moments you need to be at your best. You can't let the tiredness get to you. You have to get back up, play on. And here are the Ahmedabad Avengers creating something out of this. He had to play it over to the right. It needed to be a lot more precise to find whichever teammate it was intended to. And you can see the reactions. They knew that was a good chance, but it will only remain a chance.
Yes, Ryan, it will only remain a chance. Small maneuvers, small elements of the game, and it all changes. This is why they say that you got to focus on your fundamentals at all times. It's the fundamentals done right. It's the fundamentals knitted through in the lens of perfection that will eventually get you to the promised land. And if you miss out on the fundamentals, if you miss out on your rudimentary, I think what follows suit is not the best of tastes for you. The fans, I'm pretty sure, they would be desperate for goals. You can see a bit of silence now reigning in. And as you could hear the announcement, additional time of 5 minutes has been allotted. So 300 seconds we have. 300 seconds of pure cinema. This game can be 300 seconds. Well, that could have been better. That was more like a headlong clearance, gifting an opportunity, gifting a corner to the Vadodara Warriors, Ryan.
Of course, tense moments here. We've seen corner kicks break dreams in football, especially in the finals of several games. Here comes the corner for the Vadodara Warriors. It's played clear and the whistle is also blown. And possession will switch back up with the Ahmedabad Avengers. 5 minutes is what's being added, Rohit. That is plenty of time still for some action. But once again, clear down.
Oh, absolutely. 5 minutes, it can be plenty of time to wreck an entire empire altogether. So we have seen the craziest of things happening in 5 minutes. If you remember the 1999 UCL final, it was a couple of minutes that Manchester United took to sink Bayern Munich ship. And throughout the game, it was Bayern Munich calling the shots, leading. So that is how quick football can change. And even this year's IWL, I think in a match, Odisha, they came back 4-4. They were down by 4-1. I'm not too sure if it was Odisha or not. So that is how quickly games can change. In 5 minutes, it's a lot of time. Anything can happen. So keep an eye out, everyone. This is how finals should be. Warriors with a long ranger blocked away. Danger still not over. Possession lingers around. Onto the right, trying to get the cross in place. Warriors still searching. That's a fine ball. Nicely brought down onto the left, looking for that shooting lane. And that has been headed away for another corner. This is getting tighter and tighter. It goes without saying that both the Warriors and the Avengers are walking an extremely tight rope here. Who do you think, Ryan, can come out on top?
Oh, well, once again, we're in a situation, Rohit, where that question right now, I think we can't give an apt answer. But because I said Vadodara at first, I'm going to stick with Vadodara. And here we have a substitution. Of course, Krupal has paved way for Farooq. Bhupinder is going to take it. Here comes the corner kick. It finds one of the yellow shirts. It's out for another corner, which means the tensions will be high. It will remain the same. We've almost played 3 minutes post the 90. We have two more remaining. And like I said, ideal circumstances for some drama. Question is, will we see that happen here? Here comes the ball inside. Keeper off his lines. The shot was needed. It is blocked. It's still in play. He decides to go off the volley, but nothing coming out of it again, Rohit.
I think that volley could have been better. That volley never really had the true signs of a great strike. Ideally, in order for you to volley, you need to have your chest on towards the goal itself, or else you will have to go for that side volley. There you go. We'll take a look at what really happened. That side volley could have still been a better option, but the one from the distance, I think he lost his shape completely. And what eventually came out from his feet was more of a desperate attempt to try and get something on the goal. So no, that wasn't the best of chances created. But yes, as you said a few moments before, the Vadodara Warriors, they have definitely been in very good touch. They have created chances and they have tried their very best to try and break down the opposition defenses. But once again, it's the final touch, it's the final pass that has somehow been lacking. And truth be told, the Ahmedabad Avengers, I think they have done a fine job of putting in that last guard in place. They have ensured that the Warriors, they don't really get a freebie. They don't really get a chance to try and get in those fine deliveries that can create trouble for their captain. So yes, so far, well, looks like this might be one of those opportunities, however. The ball that was sent on to the right, it was pretty watery, to be honest. Could have been better. A few pushes around. Still the Warriors on the ball, Ryan.
Oh yes, they will come through that right. That's where they've gotten most of their successful plays that has been inflicted, be it chances or goals. Here once again played into the box. Defense looking to play it clear. Follow-up header toward the box. A foul committed in the process. And it looks like we've hit the 5-minute mark, Rohit. And very soon we will hear that full-time whistle. And we will stay at that 0-0 marks. Your thoughts?
Well, I would say this is a befitting game. I mean, no questions about that. The reason being, both the teams have been technically very solid. Yes, there were a few chinks in the defensive armor so far that we have seen, but truth be told, I think it's the small flaws that we talk about. I mean, no one can be perfect. It's the imperfections that you will have to embrace and at the same time come up with something special. So at the end of the day, I would say this is a very decent game of football that it has been, and most importantly, a befitting result so far. Another change that's about to happen, and this is for the Avengers. It looks like Malingamba is going to be the one who would be coming in, and the man who will be coming off is Artar Irshad Malik. What really surprises me with this change is that the Avengers, this is not a like for like change because Malingamba, he's a midfielder, he's an attacking midfielder, wherein Irshad is a defender. So this kind of tells you that the Avengers are going all guns blazing in the dying embers of this game, Ryan.
Now the Avengers on the attack. No, it switches over. Back on with the Avengers. And anytime now, we could wait for that whistle. Unless the Warriors try and push their way through on this last-ditch effort. Keeper Aditya is, of course, urging his players to move forward. He hands it over to the defense, who will launch it toward the forward lines. And there we go. That is the full-time whistle here at the Eka Arena. It is 0-0 after 90 minutes of football. Nothing to separate the top two teams. And the quest and the wait to find out who the winner of the second edition of the Gujarat Super League continues to be a wait, Rohit.
Well, there's still ample drama and suspense that remains ahead of us. And as you can hear, the crowd, they are happy with what they have seen. They are cheering their favorite teams. We can see the trumpets blowing, the drums getting louder than ever. So yes, this game is far from over. Stay tuned, everyone. We'll take a quick breather and will return with the extra time. It will be unfurling shortly enough. So yes, do stay glued to the screens of FIFA Plus and Sportscast India. It's a matter of minutes before me and Ryan come back to entertain you. Hello, everyone. Looks like it's going to be penalties, and we are all set. So yes, we'll focus on that. First penalty for the Avengers, and bam it goes, steering off the goalkeeper in a different direction. It's a strike into the heart of the net, Ryan.
Oh, great shot from Basit. And a good moment of sportsmanship there, of course. And there we go. They've taken the lead. And this is what they wanted. That's a good way to start off and get off the mark. And Rohit, we did talk about how when we were in the commentary box for the final, that did have a lot of drama, and it was of course penalties similarly. But here it is the man Manveer Singh who comes in for Vadodara to take the first one. Which way is he going to go? Is he going to confuse the experienced campaigner Ajmal, who has the gloves? Here comes the penalty, and smartly done, a grounded shot to get that one away.
As cool as a cucumber, they say. All he did was just nudged it home, and that's a very good gesture out there between the two. I think again at the end of the day, no matter the rivalry, you have to take your sportsman strides. And yes, this man, he came on at the end of the second half. Tufel Hengora. Let's see if Tufel Hengora, he's got what it takes to steer off young Aditya Waghela. I think for Aditya as well, this is a massive moment, and it's a test of his nerves, it's a test of his character. How solid is he under the stakes? Which way does Tufel Hengora goes? It is going to be an entire sequence of questions. The referee blows his whistle. Tufel on the run. Tufel, calm and composed, slots it to perfection.
This already is turning out to be one of those penalty shootouts where it comes down to a shot which would be drastically missed by one of the strikers. So it's important for them to be calm and just trust their instincts and hit the target more importantly. Rahul Rawat has stepped in for the Vadodara Warriors. They have a lot of jittery faces, of course, because they've been to the final, they've lost once, and they would not want to hear in the penalties. Here comes Rahul Rawat. He makes no mistake. Keeper did not even flinch towards the side. Rahul goes to his right and does it all right.
To all they say, and it's still all fair and square here at the Eka Arena at the Trans Stadium. It's going to be Rajesh Yadav for the Ahmedabad Avengers. Can he get his penalty in place? Can he get that all-important strike that can rattle through the nets and once again propel the Avengers to a 3-2 cushion? Here comes Rajesh, and it doesn't get better than that. He's made Aditya Waghela tail the ball, and there was no way that Aditya was reaching it in time. 3-2 for the Avengers.
All the three of those shots for Ahmedabad, soaring with confidence, and the celebration after that shows that they were bound to put that one through. Here come the Warriors again. This is where that pressure comes in for the team that's taking second. It's Upender Singh. He's often taking those corner kicks, many of the set pieces. He can definitely blast one shot in, and he needs to do that against Ajmal, the captain, who's looking to get a stop. He has gotten one so far, and here he will look to stop Bhupender's shot. Here comes Bhupender, and this is what tends to happen. He's often sending powerful balls into the box. This time he sends it out of the box.
Nerves, Ryan, nerves, it does things to you. It makes you go crazy in situations that could have been handled better. And out of nowhere, the Ahmedabad Avengers might finally sense that they have gotten themselves a decent position to be in. Are we seeing a change in goalkeeping personnel out here? Looks like the Vadodara Warriors. It might be Manveer Singh Diol with that goalkeeping bonus. Now that's another surprising move altogether. I mean, ideally you won't see a change of goalkeeping personnel midway in the penalties, especially in top flight football. But then yes, football always tends to surprise you. And at the other end, it's Malingamba. Malingamba versus Manveer Singh Diol. No gloves on for Manveer. Malingamba makes no mistake. That's another precision strike. Manveer did go the right way, but the shot was so good that by no means was he saving that. Oh, looks like a bit of fan intrusion as well. And I think it tells you volumes about how much the fans love their players, Ryan.
Indeed. And this is a big moment, Rohit, because the Warriors have to score to stay alive. And all that pressure is on this lad for his team. This is a big moment. And this is where we might perhaps know what the verdict of GSL Season 2 is. We have Ajmal, the captain, standing there looking to stop it. Question is, will he? Here comes the penalty. And no mistake as that one is put away. And the Vadodara Warriors will survive at the moment, Rohit.
Well. Definitely there were nerves. There were jitters. And at the end of the day, the Avengers, they still remain where they are. From the very start to the end, this can very well be that moment, the moment of grand accession. Jay Kanani steps up. Jay Kanani versus Manveer Singh Diol. Number 10 versus number 10. Who is gonna emerge on top? And if this goal goes in from Jay Kanani, we will have the new champions, Ahmedabad Avengers and the Vadodara Warriors. They will once again remain short-handed. The whistle has been blown and it's time for Jay Kanani. Jay steps up and it has been saved. It has been saved. Drama of the highest order. Not the best of penalties. Manveer Singh Diol stands tall and denies Jay Kanani a shy at imperious glory.
This is what tends to happen, ladies and gentlemen. Penalties always assure you drama. Just when we thought the stars were aligned, it was the perfect scenario for them to put it away. The Vadodara Warriors have fought their way back in a certain manner. And here, once again, they will have to do so to put this one away and take it to that sudden death. And he makes no mistake. And we are tied at 4 each after the first set of 5 penalties have been taken, Rohit.
I don't think anything separates these two sides. 90 minutes, 5 penalty shots each. And all we see are these two teams locked stronger than ever in an impasse for all it is. And now it is Akshay Mal who's got an opportunity to get his team ahead. It's a sudden death. Let's just give a quick heads up. Which team flinches first is the team that loses. So Akshay Mal, he will have to convert. It's a must convert penalty for him. No room for error at all. And Akshay, he beats Manveer Singh Diol. There was a moment of jitter, there was a moment of misgiving. But at the end of the day, it's a cannonball that has rattled the back of the net. It's 5-4 now for the Avengers.
There we go. They have gotten the advantage once again, which means the pressure will be back on the Vadodara Warriors. And a bit of a discussion there between the players. I think it was to maybe get a change, but yeah, it is important to focus on what's in hand because the Warriors need to score this one. And they have once again shifted the onus to Premjit Singh, the defender, who will try and keep his team in this. It's all on this. One kick, one save, Vadodara must score to stay alive. Ahmedabad just one kick away, one save away. And what's it gonna be? He does convert from the spot. And the Vadodara Warriors holding their fort on. And they are still breathing as we're tied at 5 each, Rohit.
Absolutely, what a game this has been. This is a battle that knows no ends. It's a battle that feels like an endless pit of twists and turns. It feels like an absolute cinema being directed and written by the footballing gods themselves. It cannot be anything short. I'm pretty sure if there was a Nolan who knew, or rather who loved football, this would have been his movie. If there was a Steven Spielberg who wanted to direct something, this would have been his movie. What an excellent game. What an excellent battle. And it's gonna be Goti Mayum Sharma for the Avengers. Can he flip it home? No, Goti Mayum fails. Goti Mayum fails. We might have a moment of reckoning out here. Manveer Singh Deol has saved the penalty. And this is the chance. This is the chance that Vadodara Warriors were looking forward to. What have we witnessed? Or is there a twist yet? Is there a twist yet? Will the penalty be retaken? I'm not really sure. What have we just seen? A yellow card, of course, for Manveer Singh Deol, yes. But I think the goal stands, the miss stands. So the save has been counted, which means the Vadodara Warriors now stand on the cusp of history.
Indeed, a similar save from Manveer, the one which he did earlier to save his team and give them the onus. And this is where, this is it, the moment. One city holding its breath, another on its knees. Vadodara one kick away from glory, from the street football stadium. This is what dreams are made of. Here comes the kick and there we go. He scored. Vadodara have done it. They have conquered the Gujarat Super League. A goal, not just a goal. He scored a legacy. And it is definitely a story that Manveer will have. A story that every child in Raupura, Akkalapuri and Fatehganj will grow up hearing. Vadodara erupt in celebration and take a bow. Vadodara Warriors, you are the king of Gujarat football today.
That is it. The curtains come down on GSL 2.0. The exhale of 1,000 held breaths. The roar of redemption from the ashes of heartbreak to the summit of glory. Vadodara Warriors have rewritten their story. Last year, they came to the finals and they stumbled at the final hurdle. Their dreams scattered on this very turf itself, Ryan. But tonight, they rose. They rose unbroken, unbowed, unscarred, unfazed. And eventually, after a year of desperation, hunger, will, tenacity, and determination, they have been crowned at last. Ryan, this is more than a victory. Believe me, this is more than a victory. It's a blazing testament to the power of belief, to the spirit that refused to yield. And until the next chapter begins, I think they can take in those emotions. They can take in the wild emotions that now comes in. What would be your take on this incredible journey of redemption, Ryan?
Oh, brilliant. I mean, from that day one of GSL Season 2, the way they won that match, all the way till here, I think Manveer is going to think of that moment when he decided to ask for the gloves. It could have gone either way. And for the record, he did not wear any gloves. He produced the save against a potential winning shot from Jay to stop that, followed up with another save. and then it was his team coming through with the victory. And we have to give credits to the Ahmedabad Avengers for the way they performed in the entire campaign of season 2 here in the GSL. And take a look at this. This was one of those imagining big moments which changed everything, Rohit.
Oh, absolutely. And I think the Vadodara Warriors, the fact that they decided to change their main goalkeeper, make no mistake, Aditya, he's had a very good game. He's had an excellent tournament. And yet, we talk about that you got to come up with those subtle maneuvers. You got to come up with those small tweaks. It's like responding to a situation. And it's the team that responds first comes out on top. And that is exactly what the Vadodara Warriors have done. The fact that they decided to bring on Manveer Singh Deol as the goalkeeper. Yes, I won't say the kind of saves that he has pulled, they look like a polished save of a titan. But at the end of the day, he's got the job done. And in a tournament, in a match, in a marathon run like this, what matters is that you get the job done. Whether you get it done with poetic brilliance, whether you get it done with artistic perfection, or whether you get it done in a ragged manner, Ryan, it doesn't matter. What matters is that the job is done, the time has been served, and eventually, at the end of the day, the crown has been lifted. And the Vadodara Warriors, for them, the crown has been lifted. And they will soak in the raw emotions, the wild emotions of the night, and they will now head on to the celebrations. I would, just before I hand over the microphone to you, I would like to use the lyrics of a song that eventually we all resonate with. Vadodara Warriors, they paid their dues time after time. They've done their sentence, but they committed no crime. They've made a few mistakes. Yes, they have made a few, but they've had their share of sand kicked in their face. But they have come through. They are the champions, our friends, and they will keep on fighting. They rather kept on fighting till the end. Over to you, Ryan.
Wonderfully put there, Rohit. And as we all know, tonight Vadodara will not sleep. They will celebrate as the champions of season 2 of the Gujarat Super League. And looking at how it just came through, it is the perfect way for a redemption, and a redemption that was definitely not easy, because they had to wait an entire year. They had to come back for the next season and also play football at the top level along with that season to ensure that they made it to the final. And they also didn't let their guard down through the 90 minutes. And here in the penalty shootout, they saw it through to claim the title. The team performance has proved to be spectacular, and Mr. Salim Patan will definitely be happy as the catalyst that has led this team to victory and also conquer the trophy, Rohit.
Absolutely, and I think, truth be told, what they've done this year is that they continue to believe. And in a marathon tournament like this, the moment you lose your belief is where it all goes wrong. And again, let's talking about belief. I think we have talked a lot about the Vadodara Warriors, but now let's talk about the Ahmedabad Avengers. I think, they did well. At the end of the day, when it boils down to the tiebreaker, it's more on a lot of luck involved. No matter how good of players you have got in place, at the end of the day, it doesn't serve your cause. What eventually settles down is how you have fared in the tournament. And truth be told, at the end of 90 minutes, it was a 0-0 battle. So, with that being said, I think the Ahmedabad Avengers will take pride from the fact that they remained undefeated in the final in terms of regulation minutes. But eventually, when the tiebreaker did make its appearance, well, someone have to win, someone has to lose, and unfortunately, the Ahmedabad Avengers, after a great tournament, will have to return empty-handed.
Yeah, I think anybody would feel for them based on how it came through. And to lose on penalty shootouts, I think the pain for all of us to sit and think through itself is a lot. Just imagine the players. Well, I think the only word to them would be is to try and get through with this. Of course, it's going to be hard, but they are all seasoned athletes, and I'm sure that they will be back next season with that hunger, with that determination to try and get themselves up one better, because they did everything they could in their capacity. But we all know that in football, penalties is just a matter of luck at the end of the day, and both the teams did give it their best. But it is the Vadodara Warriors who will claim the title, avenging themselves from previous year's defeat.
I think the Ahmedabad Avengers, they should take their lesson from their opposition, Vadodara Warriors. You know, they say that at times when you win the tournament at the first go itself, it is slightly easier to win, but to maintain that level of consistency. Vadodara Warriors, they were a part of the final last year as well, and they were a part of this year's final as well before they eventually lifted the trophy. Maintaining that level of consistency, it comes in with a lot of belief, it comes in with a lot of hard work, and all the talk that we have about belief, the body language, that is born out of the sheer hard work, out of the sheer persistence, out of the sheer diligence that you are willing to put on the yard. So I think that is exactly what the Vadodara Warriors did. They kept on fighting with their hearts and bodies and souls on the line. They were not willing to relent, and that unwavering attitude of theirs is what has gotten them the all important, the all elusive crown. They were vanquished in the last finale, but they did not give up hope. They knew that yes, they came close, and from there, all they had to do was keep on believing, keep on doing the hard work with a lot more intensity. They did that and they were rewarded. This is how you reap the dividends of football, of hard work, of belief, of persistence, and eventually, when you put in all the efforts, all everything that's out there in the gas tank of yours, eventually the success will come your way.
Great words there, Rohit. And I'm sure the team will definitely go back and reminisce all of this along with the trophy. And at this point, we would like to just thank all our viewers for joining us live on FIFA Plus and Sportscast India, witnessing the Gujarat Super League, all the matches, not just the final, but from the very beginning, every game. It is all you viewers. Do continue your support to Indian football and Gujarat football as well. And as for the commentary box, this is your commentators, Ryan James and Rohit Ganguly, signing off for the season. Do continue your support, and thank you so much once again. Have a wonderful day and do enjoy the ceremony which will come your way very soon, as we will see the Vadodara Warriors lifting that trophy.
For the ones watching the highlights, just like after signing off, we've made a reappearance. This is to inform you that do not miss out on the post-match presentation, do not miss out on the highlights. And do not miss out on a few bloopers that we have had in a nicely packaged video coming up for you all. Thank you everyone for joining in. Once again, this is your commentator Rohit and Ryan signing off. Thank you everyone for joining in. Once again, stay safe, stay happy.
વડોદરા વોરિયર્સના ઓનર શ્રી દેવરાજ ગોહિલજી પણ આપણા સૌની વચ્ચે ઉપસ્થિત છે. તેમને પણ વિનંતી આપનું સ્થાન ગ્રહણ કરવા માટે. ગુજરાત સ્ટેટ ફૂટબોલ એસોસિએશન દ્વારા ગુજરાત સુપર લીગ સિઝન 2 તેનું આયોજન 1 મેથી લઈ અને 13 મે સુધી. આપણી વચ્ચે સિઝન 2ના ચેમ્પિયન ટીમ વડોદરા વોરિયર્સ જે સિઝન 1માં રનર્સઅપ ટીમ હતી અને આ વર્ષે તેમણે ચેમ્પિયનનો ખિતાબ પ્રાપ્ત કર્યો છે. આપણા સૌની વચ્ચે પ્રેઝન્ટેશન સેરેમનીમાં તમામ માનવંતા મહેમાનશ્રીઓ ઉપસ્થિત છે. સર્વેનું ગુજરાત સ્ટેટ ફૂટબોલ એસોસિએશન વતી હાર્દિક સ્વાગત કરીએ છીએ. ગુજરાતી સાહિત્યના કવિ એમની શબ્દયાત્રામાં લખે કે કિસ્સો કેવો સરસ મજાનો છે, બેઉ વ્યક્તિ સુખી થયાનો છે. કિસ્સો કેવો સરસ મજાનો છે, બેઉ વ્યક્તિ સુખી થયાનો છે. પલ્લુ તારા તરફ નમ્યાનું તને, મને આનંદ ઊંચે ગયાનો છે. આજે એક ટીમનું પલ્લુ એ ભારે થયું છે અને એક ટીમ એ ઊંચે ચડી છે. ટીમ ઓનર સાથે જે ડિગ્નિટરીઝ આવેલા છે તેમને પણ વિનંતી અહીંયા આગળ જે ચેરની સિટિંગ એરેન્જમેન્ટ છે ત્યાં આગળ આપનું સ્થાન ગ્રહણ કરશો. ગુજરાત સુપર લીગની 6 ટીમના ટીમ ઓનર્સના જે પણ રિલેટિવ્સ ફ્રેન્ડ્સ અહીંયા આગળ ઉપસ્થિત છે તેમને પણ વિનંતી આપનું સ્થાન અહીંયા આગળ ચેર્સ ઉપર ગ્રહણ કરશો. થોડીક જ ક્ષણોમાં આપણે આજની પોસ્ટ મેચ પ્રેઝન્ટેશન સેરેમની તેનો પ્રારંભ કરવા જઈ રહ્યા છીએ. આપણા સૌની વચ્ચે આજના આ પ્રેઝન્ટેશન સેરેમનીમાં ઉપસ્થિત ઓનરેબલ શ્રી મુકેશ પુરી સર, એડિશનલ ચીફ સેક્રેટરી, ચેરમેન એન્ડ મેનેજિંગ ડાયરેક્ટર ઓફ સરદાર સરોવર નિગમ લિમિટેડ, ઓનરેબલ દિલીપ સિંહ શેખાવત સર, ઓનરેબલ જનરલ સેક્રેટરી રાજસ્થાન સ્ટેટ ફૂટબોલ એસોસિએશન, શ્રી ચંદ્ર ખટીક, ઓનરેબલ ટ્રેઝરર રાજસ્થાન સ્ટેટ ફૂટબોલ એસોસિએશન, ઓનરેબલ ટ્રેઝરર ગુજરાત સ્ટેટ ફૂટબોલ એસોસિએશન શ્રી મયંક બુચ સર, એક્ઝિક્યુટિવ કમિટી મેમ્બર જીએસએફએ શપથ શાહ, એક્ઝિક્યુટિવ કમિટી મેમ્બર જીએસએફએ અંકિત પટેલ, અહેમદાબાદ એવેન્જર્સના ટીમ ઓનર સાહિલ પટેલ, આપણા સૌની વચ્ચે ઉપસ્થિત વડોદરા વોરિયર્સના ટીમ ઓનર દેવરાજ ગોહિલ, આપણા સૌની વચ્ચે ગાંધીનગર જાયન્ટ્સની ટીમના ટીમ ઓનર શ્રી પ્રશાંત સંઘવીજી ઉપસ્થિત છે. સાથોસાથ આપણા સૌની વચ્ચે ઉપસ્થિત છે સુરત સ્ટ્રાઇકર્સના શ્રી અલ્કેશ પટેલ, આપણા સૌની વચ્ચે શ્રી અદ્વૈતા પટેલ ટીમ ઓનર કર્ણાવતી નાઇટ્સ. આ તમામનું સ્વાગત કરીએ છીએ અને ગણતરીની ક્ષણોમાં આપણે આજની પોસ્ટ મેચ પ્રેઝન્ટેશન સેરેમની તેનો પ્રારંભ કરવા જઈ રહ્યા છીએ. દોસ્તો, આજની આ મેચ જોઈ અને ગુજરાતી સાહિત્ય ધ્રુવ ભટ્ટ તેમની એક કવિતાને થોડાક શબ્દોના ફેરફાર સાથે આપ સૌની વચ્ચે વહેંચવાનું મન થાય. આજનો આ માહોલ કેવો છે? કોઈ આપણને પૂછે કે તમને કેવું લાગે છે, કેમ લાગે છે, તો શું કહેવાનું મન થાય? તો હું અહીં આગળથી આ વાતને વહેંચું છું, બરાબર કાન સેન થઈને આપ ઝીલજો. ઓચિંતું કોઈ મને રસ્તે મળે અને ધીરેથી પૂછે કે કેમ છે. ઓચિંતું કોઈ મને રસ્તે મળે અને ધીરેથી પૂછે કે કેમ છે. આપણે તો કહીએ કે જીએસએલની મોજ અને વડોદરા વોરિયર્સની ચેમ્પિયન ટીમની સાથે છીએ. ઓચિંતું કોઈ મને રસ્તે મળે અને ધીરેથી પૂછે કે કેમ છે. આ રમત જેની અંદર કોઈ એક ટીમ જીતતી હોય છે અને બીજી ટીમ એ જીતી શકતી નથી. આ બંને ટીમો છેક સુધી લડી અને જોરદાર સંઘર્ષ કર્યો છે. એક વખત જોરદાર તાલીથી અહેમદાબાદ એવેન્જર્સ અને વડોદરા વોરિયર્સને આપણે સૌ વધાવી લઈએ. વિનંતી કરું ગુજરાત સ્ટેટ ફૂટબોલ એસોસિએશનના ઓનરેબલ સેક્રેટરી શ્રી મુલડારસિંહ ચુડાસમાને આપ મંચ પર પધારશો. વિનંતી કરું આજના આ ક્લોઝિંગ સેરેમનીમાં આપણા સૌની વચ્ચે ઉપસ્થિત રાજસ્થાન સ્ટેટ ફૂટબોલ એસોસિએશનના ઓનરેબલ ટ્રેઝરર શ્રી કૈલાશચંદ્ર સટીક સરને કે આપ પધારશો. શ્રી કૈલાશચંદ્રજીને વિનંતી आप मंच पर पधार. आपसे विनती है વિનંતી કરું શ્રી મુલડારસિંહજી ચુડાસમાને કે આપ શ્રી આપના વરદ હસ્તે તેઓ શ્રીનું અહીંયા આગળ સ્વાગત કરશો. જોરદાર તાલીથી આપણે સૌ વધાવી લઈશું. સ્કાર્ફ અને મેમેન્ટો સાથે તેઓનું અહીંયા આગળ સુંદર મજાનું સ્વાગત થઈ રહ્યું છે. જોરદાર તાલીથી ફરીથી એકવાર આપણે સૌ વધાવી લઈએ. मैं विनती करता हूं कैलाश चंद्र जी से कि आप अपने कर कमलों से मैच कमिश्नर श्री दिनेश नायर जी का यहां पर सम्मान प्रदान करें. श्री दिनेश नायर जी मैच कमिश्नर, उनका मेमेंटो और स्कार्फ से यहां पर अभिवादन हो रहा है. जोरदार तालियां श्री दिनेश नायर सर के लिए.
Dinesh Nair is AIFF match commissioner. He also officiates ISL matches and AIFF matches.
मैं कैलाश चंद्र जी से विनती करता हूं आप अपने कर कमलों से मैच कमिश्नर दिव्यराज सिंह राणा उनका भी अभिवादन संपन्न करें.
AIFF match commissioner. He also officiates I-League matches and AIFF matches.
जोरदार तालियां श्री दिव्यराज सिंह जी राणा के लिए. थैंक यू. मैं विनती करता हूं गुजरात स्टेट फुटबॉल एसोसिएशन के ऑनरेबल ट्रेजरर श्री मयंक बूच सर से आप स्टेज पर यहां पर आए और ऑनरेबल श्री मुलडार सिंह जी चुडासमा अपने कर कमलों से उनका अभिवादन संपन्न करेंगे. जोरदार तालीથી શ્રી મયંક બુચજીના આ અભિવાદનને આપણે સૌ વધાવી લઈશું. માનનીય મુલરાજસિંહજી ચુડાસમા તેમના વરદસ્તે આ અભિવાદન સંપન્ન કરી રહ્યા છે. જોરદાર તાલીથી જાય શ્રી મયંક બુચ સાહેબ માટે. વિનંતી કરું શ્રી મયંક બુચજીને કે આપ શ્રી આપના વરદસ્તે મેચ કમિશનર ધર્મેન્દ્રસિંહ ચુડાસમા તેમનું અભિવાદન સંપન્ન કરશો. મેચ કમિશનર ધર્મેન્દ્રસિંહ ચુડાસમા.
Match commissioner officiates GSFA matches.
विनंती करूं मयंक बुच्जीने કે આપ શ્રી આપના વરદસ્તે તરન્નુમ શેખ મેચ કમિશનર તેમનું પણ અભિવાદન સંપન્ન કરશો.
Only female match commissioner of GS from Gujarat of GSFA officiates matches of GSFA.
GSL ની નારી શક્તિનું અભિવાદન થઈ રહ્યું છે. જોરદાર તાલીથી આપણે સૌ વધાવી લઈશું. થેન્ક યુ મયંક સર, થેન્ક યુ. વિનંતી કરું GSFના ઓનરેબલ મહિપાલસિંહજી રાણા સાહેબને આપ મંચ પર પધારશો. વિનંતી કરું શ્રી મહિપાલસિંહજી રાણા સાહેબને કે આપ મંચ પર પધારશો. ગુજરાત સુપર લીગ જેમાં હવે પછીના ક્રમે શ્રી મહિપાલસિંહજી રાણા તેમના વરદસ્તે એક્ઝિક્યુટિવ कमिटी मेंबर श्री शपथ शाह अभिवादन करशे. श्री महिपाल सिंह विनंती करूँ आप श्री आपना वरदस्ते श्री शपथ शाह एक्झिक्युटिव कमिटी मेंबर GSFA તેમનું અભિવાદન સંપન્ન કરશો. જોરદાર તાલીથી આપણે સૌ વધાવી લઈશું. શ્રી શપથ શાહજીને વિનંતી કરું આપ શ્રી આપના વરદ હસ્તે મેચ ઓફિશિયલ્સ આકાશ મહેતા તેમનું અભિવાદન સંપન્ન કરશો. મેચ ઓફિશિયલ્સ આકાશ મહેતા ઝડપથી જેમના પણ નામ બોલાય છે એ ઝડપથી સ્ટેજ ઉપર આવશે. મેચ ઓફિશિયલ્સ આકાશ મહેતા.
Akash Mehta is a national referee, officiates I-League and AIFF matches.
શ્રી શપથભાઈ તેમના વરદસ્તે પછીના ક્રમે પ્રતીક બજાજ મેચ ઓફિશિયલ્સ તેમનું અભિવાદન સંપન્ન કરશે. પ્રતીક બજાજ.
Pratik Bajaj is also a national referee and officiates ISL and AIFF matches.
અને હવે પછીના ક્રમે શ્રી શપથભાઈ તેમના વરદસ્તે શ્રી કુમાર પિલ્લઈ તેમનું અભિવાદન સંપન્ન કરશે. શ્રી શપથભાઈની વિનંતી આપના પ્રદસ્તે મેચ ઓફિશિયલ્સ શ્રી કુમાર પિલ્લઈ તેમનું અભિવાદન સંપન્ન કરશો.
Shri Kumar Pillai is a national referee and officiates AIFF matches.
થેન્ક યુ શપથભાઈ, થેન્ક યુ. હવે પછીના ક્રમે શ્રી જતીનભાઈ ભાવસારને વિનંતી કરું આપ મંચ પર પધારશો અને આપના પ્રદસ્તે પછીના અભિવાદન છે એ સંપન્ન કરશો. શ્રી જતીન ભાવસાર જીએસએફ વતી તેમનું અભિવાદન બોલદાર સર સંપન્ન કરશે. અને હવે પછીના ક્રમે વિનંતી કરું શ્રી જતીનભાઈ ભાવસારને કે આપ એક્ઝિક્યુટિવ કમિટી મેમ્બર જીએસએફએ શ્રી અંકિતભાઈ પટેલ તેમનું અભિવાદન સંપન્ન કરશો. શ્રી અંકિતભાઈ પટેલ ગુજરાત સુપર લીગને સફળ બનાવવા માટે શપથભાઈ અને અંકિતભાઈ સહિત સૌ કોઈ ખૂબ જહેમત ઉઠાવી છે. જોરદાર તાલીઓથી શ્રી અંકિતભાઈ પટેલને આપણે સૌ વધાવી લઈશું. શ્રી અંકિતભાઈ પટેલ તેમનું અભિવાદન થઈ રહ્યું છે. શ્રી અંકિતભાઈને વિનંતી કરું આપના પ્રદસ્તે પછીના ક્રમે મેચ ઓફિશિયલ્સ જર્વિશ મેકવાન તેમનું અભિવાદન સંપન્ન કરશો. જાર્વિશ મેકવાન. મેચ ઓફિશિયલ્સ જાર્વિશ મેકવાન તેમનું અભિવાદન સંપન્ન કરશો.
Jarvish Makwan is a national referee and officiates I-League 2 and AIFF matches.
ત્યારબાદ મેચ ઓફિશિયલ્સ ઉમંગ પરમાર તેમનું અભિવાદન સંપન્ન થશે. ઉમંગ પરમાર ઝડપથી સ્ટેજ પાસે આવશે. દોસ્તો આ તમામ મેચ ઓફિશિયલ્સ માટે જોરદાર તાળી થઈ જાય. આમણે ખૂબ સરસ કામગીરી કરી છે એટલા માટે આ જીએસએલ એ સફળ થઈ છે. ઉમંગ પરમાર તેમનું અભિવાદન થઈ રહ્યું છે. શ્રી અંકિતભાઈ તેમના વરદસ્તે આ અભિવાદન સંપન્ન કરી રહ્યા છે. અને ત્યારબાદ મેચ ઓફિશિયલ્સ ઋષિત ટીલાલા.
Umang Parmar is a state referee and officiates GSFA matches.
હવે પછીના ક્રમે શ્રી ઋષિત ટીલાલા મેચ ઓફિશિયલ્સ તેમનું અભિવાદન શ્રી અંકિતભાઈ સંપન્ન કરશે.
Shit Tilala is a state referee and officiates GSFA matches.
થેન્ક યુ અંકિતભાઈ, થેન્ક યુ. વિનંતી કરું શ્રી પરાશર જયસ્વાલજીને આપ મંચ પર પધારશો. શ્રી પરાશર જયસ્વાલજી એક્ઝિક્યુટિવ કમિટી મેમ્બર જીએસએફએ તેમને વિનંતી આપ મંચ ઉપર પધારશો અને માનનીય બોલરાજસિંહજી ચુડાસમા તેઓ શ્રીનું અહીં આગળ અભિવાદન સંપન્ન કરશે. થેન્ક યુ. અને હવે પછીના ક્રમે પરાશર જયસ્વાલજીને વિનંતી આપ શ્રી આપના પ્રદર્શતે અહેમદાબાદ એવેન્જર્સ ટીમના ટીમ ઓનર સાહિલ પટેલજી આપણા સૌની વચ્ચે ઉપસ્થિત છે ત્યારે તેઓ શ્રીનું અભિવાદન સંપન્ન કરશો. સાહિલ પટેલજી પ્લીઝ. અહેમદાબાદ એવેન્જર્સ ગુજરાત સુપર લીગ સીઝન 2 ની રનર્સ અપ ટીમ જોરદાર તાલીઓથી જાય ટીમ ઓનર સાહિલ પટેલ માટે. શ્રી પરાશર સરને વિનંતી આપના વરદસ્તે મેચ ઓફિશિયલ બચ્ચન મોલ તેમનું અભિવાદન સંપન્ન કરશો.
Bachchan
Shri
Mal is also a state referee and officiates GSFA matches.
સાહિલ પટેલ સાહેબ તેમના વરદસ્તે તેઓ શ્રીનું અભિવાદન સંપન્ન કરશે. ત્યારબાદ રચના કમાણી. રચના કમાણી. મેચ ઓફિશિયલ્સ રચના કમાણી.
Rachna Kamani is a national referee, officiates Indian Women's League and only referee from India in AFC Academy.
શ્રી સાહિલ પટેલજી તેમના વરદસ્તે અભિવાદન સંપન્ન કરી રહ્યા છે. રચના કામાણી. થેન્ક યુ સાહિલભાઈ, થેન્ક યુ. હવે પછીના ક્રમે વિનંતી કરું વડોદરા વોરિયર્સ સિઝન 2ની ચેમ્પિયન ટીમના ટીમ ઓનર દેવરાજ ગોહિલને કે આપ મંચ પર પધારશો અને માન્ય મૂળરાજસિંહજી ચુડાસમા તેમના વરદસ્તે તેઓ શ્રીનું અભિવાદન કરશે. જોરદાર તાળીઓ. ચેમ્પિયન ટીમના ટીમ ઓનર શ્રી દેવરાજભાઈને વિનંતી કરું આપ શ્રી આપના વરદસ્તે જીએસએફના ઓફિશિયલ્સ જયદેવસિંહ ચુડાસમા તેમનું અભિવાદન સંપન્ન કરશો. એન્ટાયર લીગને સફળ બનાવવા માટે જહેમત ઉઠાવી છે તેવા જીએસએફના ઓફિશિયલ્સ જયદેવસિંહ ચુડાસમા તેમનું અભિવાદન થઈ રહ્યું છે. જોરદાર તાળીઓથી આપણે સૌ વધાવી લઈશું.
Jaydev Chudasama is a GSFA operational manager.
હવે પછીના ક્રમે જીએસએફના ઓફિશિયલ ધ્રુવિત ગુપ્તા તેમનું અભિવાદન સંપન્ન થશે. શ્રી ધ્રુવિત ગુપ્તા.
Dhruvit Gupta is a national referee and GSFA grassroots and referee manager.
અને હવે પછીના ક્રમે જીએસએફના ઓફિશિયલ સેવિયો ડી કોસ્ટા.
Mr. Savio is GSFA assistant manager.
થેન્ક યુ દેવરાજ સર, થેન્ક યુ. પ્લીઝ હેવ અ સીટ. અને હવે પછીના ક્રમે વિનંતી કરું આપણા સૌની વચ્ચે આજના આ કાર્યક્રમમાં ઉપસ્થિત આપણા ચીફ ગેસ્ટ ઓનરેબલ શ્રી મુકેશ પુરી સરને આપને વિનંતી આપ મંચ પર પધારશો અને વિનંતી કરું માન્ય મૂળરાજસિંહજી ચુડાસમાને કે આપ શ્રી આપના વરદસ્તે માન્ય મુકેશ પુરી સર આપણા સૌની વચ્ચે ઉપસ્થિત છે ત્યારે તેઓ શ્રીનું અભિવાદન સંપન્ન કરશો. ઓનરેબલ મુકેશ પુરી સર તેમનું અભિવાદન થઈ રહ્યું છે. એડિશનલ ચીફ સેક્રેટરી ચેરમેન એન્ડ એમડી ઓફ સરદાર સરોવર નિગમ લિમિટેડ. જોરદાર તાળીઓથી આપણે સૌ વધાવી લઈશું. વિનંતી કરું એક ખાસ અમદાવાદની ઓળખ સમા મેમેટો સાથે તેમનું અભિવાદન કર્યું છે. જોરદાર તાળીઓ શ્રી મુકેશ પુરી સર માટે. વિનંતી કરું માન્ય મુકેશ પુરી સરને આપ શ્રી આપના પ્રદસ્તે ફાઇનલ મેચના મેન ઓફ ધ મેચ વડોદરા વોરિયર્સ ટીમના ખેલાડી રોહિત ચાવલા તેમને આપ અહીં આગળ તેમનું અભિવાદન સંપન્ન કરશો. મેન ઓફ ધ મેચ રોહિત ચાવલા. જોરદાર તાળીઓ.
Gujarat Super League. Gujarat Super League.
જોરદાર તાળીઓથી બજાવી દઈએ. રોહિત ચાવલા મેન ઓફ ધ મેચ. મુકેશ પુરી સરને વિનંતી આપના વરદસ્તે મેમેન્ટો બાદ હવે પછીના ક્રમે ₹5000ની કિંમતનો ચેક પણ અર્પણ કરશો. જોરદાર તાળીઓથી બજાવી લઈએ. મેન ઓફ ધ મેચ પ્લેયર રોહિત ચાવલા, વડોદરા વોરિયર્સ. થેન્ક યુ મુકેશ પુરી સર, થેન્ક યુ, સો નાઇસ ઓફ યુ. હવે પછીના ક્રમે વિનંતી કરું શ્રી મૂળરાજસિંહજી ચુડાસમાને કે આપ શ્રી આપના વરદસ્તે ગાંધીનગર જાયન્ટ્સ ટીમના ટીમ ઓનર શ્રી પ્રશાંત સંઘવીજી તેમનું અભિવાદન સંપન્ન કરશો. આજની આ ફાઇનલ મેચને ફૂલ ચીયર અપ સાથે જેમણે માણી છે એવા પ્રશાંત સંઘવીજીને જોરદાર તાળીઓ સાથે વધાવી લઈએ. ગાંધીનગર જાયન્ટ્સ ટીમના ટીમ ઓનર તેમનું અભિવાદન થઈ રહ્યું છે શ્રી મૂળરાજસિંહજીના વરદસ્તે. શ્રી પ્રશાંતભાઈને વિનંતી કરું આપ શ્રી આપના વરદસ્તે પછીના ક્રમે આ લીગના બેસ્ટ સ્કોરર માનવીર સિંહ, વડોદરા વોરિયર્સ તેમનું અભિવાદન કરશો અને સાથોસાથ ₹25000ની કિંમતનો ચેક પણ અર્પણ કરશો. જોરદાર તાળીથી જાય. બેસ્ટ સ્કોરર ઓફ ધ લીગ માનવીર સિંહ, વડોદરા વોરિયર્સ. શ્રી પ્રશાંતભાઈ ₹25000ની કિંમતનો ચેક અર્પણ કર્યા છે. ફરીથી એકવાર જોરદાર તાળીઓ. કમ ઓન, ચીયર અપ એવરીબડી. શ્રી પ્રશાંતભાઈને વિનંતી કરું એન્ટાયર લીગના બેસ્ટ આસિસ્ટન્ટ ધર્મેશ પરમાર વડોદરા વોરિયર્સ જોરદાર તાળી સાથે બતાવી લઈએ. ધર્મેશના ફૂટબોલ પ્રત્યેના ધર્મને આપણે જોરદાર તાળીઓ સાથે બતાવી લઈશું. તેમને પણ ₹25,000ની કિંમતનો ચેક એ પ્રશાંતભાઈ સંઘવી તેમના પ્રદસ્તે એનાયત કરશે. Come on everybody, big cheer up for ધર્મેશ પરમાર. થેન્ક યુ પ્રશાંતભાઈ, થેન્ક યુ સો નાઇસ ઓફ યુ, થેન્ક યુ. હવે પછીના ક્રમે મંચ પર પધારવા માટે વિનંતી કરું સુરત સ્ટ્રાઇકર્સના ટીમ ઓનર ઓનરેબલ અલ્કેશભાઈ પટેલને. આપ મંચ પર પધારશો. શ્રી અલ્કેશભાઈ પટેલ તેમનું અભિવાદન માન્ય બોલરાજસિંહજી ચુડાસમા તેમના વરદસ્તે સંપન્ન કરશે. सूरत की मूरत बड़ी न्यारी है. आ सूरतनी टीमना टीम ओनर सूरत स्ट्राइकरना अल्केश पटेल માટે જોરદાર તાળી થઈ જાય. શ્રી અલ્કેશ પટેલજીને વિનંતી કરું આપના વરદસ્તે બેસ્ટ મિડ પ્લેયર ટોટન દાસ વડોદરા વોરિયર્સ તેમનું અભિવાદન સંપન્ન કરશો. બેસ્ટ મિડ પ્લેયર ટોટન દાસ વડોદરા વોરિયર્સ તેમને તેમનું અભિવાદન થશે અને સાથોસાથ ₹25,000ની કિંમતનો ચેક તેમને અર્પણ થશે શ્રી અલ્કેશ પટેલજીના વરદસ્તે. કમ ઓન, બિગ ચીયર અપ ફોર ટોટન દાસ વડોદરા વોરિયર્સ. હવે પછીના ક્રમે એન્ટાયર લીગના બેસ્ટ ડિફેન્ડર બ્રજેશ યાદવ અહેમદાબાદ એવેન્જર્સ. क्या बात है. ब्रजेश यादव अहमदाबाद एवेंजर्स बेस्ट डिफेंडर श्री अल्केश भाई 25,000ની કિંમતનો ચેક અર્પણ કરશે. નાઉ બેસ્ટ ઇમર્જિંગ પ્લેયર ઓફ ધ લીગ આદિત્ય વાઘેલા વડોદરા વોરિયર્સ. બિગ ચીયર અપ ફોર આદિત્ય. ફૂટબોલની ગેમનો સૂર્ય એટલે આદિત્ય વાઘેલા ઇમર્જિંગ પ્લેયર. જોરદાર તાળીથી આપણે સૌ વધાવી લઈશું. થેન્ક યુ અલ્કેશભાઈ, થેન્ક યુ સો નાઇસ ઓફ યુ. હવે પછીના ક્રમે મંચ પર આમંત્રિત કરીશ કર્ણાવતી નાઇટ્સના ટીમ ઓનર અદ્વિતા પટેલજીને. આપ મંચ પર પધારશો. માન્ય બોલડાર સરને વિનંતી કરું આપના વરદસ્તે તેઓ શ્રીનું અહીંયા આગળ અભિવાદન સંપન્ન કરશો જીએસએફ વતી. વિનંતી કરું અદ્વિતાજીને આપ શ્રી આપના પ્રદસ્તે બેસ્ટ ગોલકીપર ઓફ ધ લીગ અજમલ અહેમદાબાદ એવેન્જર્સ. જોરદાર તાળીઓ. કમ ઓન યાર, બિગ ચીયર અપ ફોર અજમલ. અહેમદાબાદ એવેન્જર્સ ₹25,000ની કિંમતનો ચેક તેમને પ્રાપ્ત થશે. નાઉ બેસ્ટ કોચ અને બેસ્ટ કોચ ઓફ ધ લીગ વડોદરા વોરિયર્સના કોચ સલીમ પઠાણ. જોરદાર તાળીઓ. ગયા વર્ષે ટીમને રનર્સઅપ બનાવી હતી અને આ વર્ષે ચેમ્પિયન શ્રી સલીમ પઠાણ બેસ્ટ કોચ ઓફ ધ ગુજરાત સુપર લીગ સીઝન 2. ₹25,000ની કિંમતનો ચેક અદ્વિતા પટેલજી તેમના પ્રદસ્તે અર્પણ કરશે. દોસ્તો ફરીથી એકવાર જોરદાર તાળીથી વધાવી લઈએ. થેન્ક યુ અદ્વિતાજી, થેન્ક યુ. હવે પછીના ક્રમે વિનંતી કરું મંચ પર પધારવા માટે આપણા સૌની વચ્ચે ઉપસ્થિત રાજસ્થાન સ્ટેટ ફૂટબોલ એસોસિએશનના ઓનરેબલ ટ્રેઝરર શ્રી कैलाशचंद्रजीને કે આપ मंच पर पधारशो. श्री कैलाशचंद्र जी, आपसे विनती है आप यहाँ पर मंच पर पधारे. અને હવે પછીના ક્રમે બેસ્ટ ફેર ટીમ એવોર્ડ એ અર્પણ થશે. બેસ્ટ ફેર ટીમ એવોર્ડ goes to ગાંધીનગર જાયન્ટ્સ. શ્રી પ્રશાંત સંઘવીજી અહીંયા આગળ આવશે અને બેસ્ટ ફેર ટીમ એવોર્ડ એ કૈલાસચંદ્રજીના વરદસ્તે તેઓ શ્રી પ્રાપ્ત કરશે. જોરદાર તાળીઓ સાથે આપણે સૌ વધાવી લઈશું. રૂપિયા 25,000ની કિંમતનો ચેક બેસ્ટ ફેર ટીમ એવોર્ડ તરીકે તેમને પ્રાપ્ત થશે. થેન્ક યુ. અને હવે પછીના ક્રમે વિનંતી કરું આપણા સૌની વચ્ચે ઉપસ્થિત राजस्थान स्टेट फुटबॉल एसोसिएशन के ऑनरेबल सेक्रेटरी श्री शेखावत जी से कृपया आप मंच पर पधारें और अपने कर कमलों से गुजरात सुपर लीग सीजन 2 की रनर्स अप टीम उनके सभी खिलाड़ियों को यहाँ पर आप मेडल प्रदान करें. सबसे पहले आपका अभिवादन होगा. जोरदार तालियां श्री शेखावत जी के लिए. एक विशेष मेमेंटो अहमदाबादની ઓળખ સાથે તેમનું અભિવાદન થઈ રહ્યું છે. ફરીથી એકવાર જોરદાર તાળી સાથે શેખાવતજીને રંગીલા રાજસ્થાનથી ગરવા ગુજરાતના રાજ્યમાં આવકારીએ છીએ. અને હવે પછીના ક્રમે मैं विनती करता हूं ऑनरेबल श्री शेखावत जी से आप अपने कर कमलों से यहाँ पर रनर्स अप टीम अहमदाबाद एवेंजर्स टीम के सभी खिलाड़ियों को मेडल प्रदान करें. राजस्थान से जो भी मेंबर आए हैं वो भी यहाँ पर आए. राजस्थान से जो भी एसोसिएशन के मेंबर आए हैं वो भी यहाँ पर मंच पर पधारे. राजस्थान से जो भी मेंबर यहाँ पर आए हैं उनसे भी विनती है आप मंच पर पधारे. अहमदाबाद एवेंजर्सની ટીમ તેમને મેડલ એ એનાયત થશે. તમામ ટીમ ઓનર્સ શ્રી દેવરાજભાઈ, પ્રશાંતભાઈ, અલ્કેશભાઈ, સાહિલભાઈ, અદ્વૈતા પટેલ, સાહિલભાઈ, અદ્વૈતા પટેલ સૌને વિનંતી. અદ્વૈતાજીને પણ વિનંતી આપ પણ પધારે. गुजरात सुपर लीग सीजन 2 रनर्स अप टीम अहमदाबाद एवेंजर्स. दोस्तों चैंपियन टीम रनर्स अप टीम નું અભિવાદન કરી રહી છે. આનાથી મોટી ખેલદિલી શું હોઈ શકે. જોરદાર તાળીઓ અહેમદાબાદ એવેન્જર્સ. गुजरात सुपर लीग सीजन 2 रनर्स अप टीम अहमदाबाद एवेंजर्स. एंटायर इवेंट टाइटल स्पॉन्सरर गुजरात टूरिज्म, को स्पॉन्सरर स्पोर्ट्स अथॉरिटी ऑफ गुजरात. अहमदाबाद एवेंजर्स टीमના તમામ ખેલાડીઓને મહાનુભાવો મેડલ પ્રદાન કરી રહ્યા છે.
Ahmedabad Avengers, the runner-up team, were the table topper, finishing the league table with the 12 points, but lost in the finals. I wish all the players best of luck for your future.
તમામ ખેલાડીઓને મેડલ પ્રદાન થશે. अहमदाबाद एवेंजर्सની ટીમને ગુજરાત સુપર લીગ સીઝન 2 માં રનર્સ અપ બનવા બદલ રૂપિયા 5 લાખની કિંમતનો ચેક અર્પણ થઈ રહ્યો છે. બિગ ચીયર અપ ફોર અહેમદાબાદ એવેન્જર્સ, રનર્સ અપ ટીમ ઓફ ગુજરાત સુપર લીગ સીઝન 2. Entire event is organized by Gujarat State Football Association. Thank you. હવે પછીના ક્રમે आई वुड लाइक टू रिक्वेस्ट ऑनरेबल मुकेश पुरी सर, सर प्लीज आप मंच पर पधारशो। श्री मुकेश पुरी सर ने अपना आजना चीफ गेस्ट ऑनरेबल एडिशनल सेक्रेटरी ऑफ गुजरात गवर्नमेंट एंड चेयरमैन एंड एमडी ऑफ सरदार सरोवर निगम लिमिटेड श्री टीम ओनर से विनती, साहिल भाई आप मंच पर पधारशो। श्री मुकेश पुरी सर તેમના વરદ હસ્તે સૌપ્રથમ ગુજરાત સુપર લીગ સીઝન 2 સીઝન 1 ની રનર્સ અપ ટીમ અને ગયા વર્ષની જે ખટાશ હતી, ગયા વર્ષનો જે અફસોસ હતો એ આ વર્ષે ચીયર અપ કર્યો છે ચેમ્પિયન ટીમ વડોદરા વોરિયર્સ। તમામ ખેલાડીઓ સ્ટેજ ઉપર આવશે અને ઓનરેબલ મુકેશ પુરી સર તથા તમામ મહાનુભાવો તેમના વરદ હસ્તે તેમને મેડલ અર્પણ કરશે। દોસ્તો ચેમ્પિયન ટીમ માટે તાલીઓ ઓછી છે, પ્લીઝ બિગ ચીયર અપ ફોર વડોદરા વોરિયર્સ।
Vadodara Warriors were runner-up last year and this year they have been the champions and I wish them all the very best.
તમામ ટીમ ઓનર્સ ને વડોદરા વોરિયર્સ ના ઓનરેબલ ટીમ ઓનર્સ શ્રી કમલેશ ગોયલ સર, શ્રી દેવરાજભાઈ, श्री अदिति शुक्ला जी सौने विनती। वडोदरा वॉरियर्स टीम ना दरेक खिलाड़ियों ने महानुभाव તેમના વરદસ્તે મેડલ અર્પણ કરી રહ્યા છે। ચેમ્પિયન ટીમ ઓફ ધ ગુજરાત સુપર લીગ સીઝન 2 હવે પછીના ક્રમે વિનંતી કરીએ ચેમ્પિયન ટીમને રૂપિયા 11 લાખની કિંમતનો ચેક અર્પણ કરશો। જોરદાર તાળીઓથી જાય। ગુજરાત સુપર લીગ સીઝન 2 ના ચેમ્પિયન ટીમને રૂપિયા 11 લાખની કિંમતનો પછીના ક્રમે વિનંતી કરીએ ચેમ્પિયન્સ ટ્રોફી પ્રદાન કરવા માટે ઓનરેબલ મુકેશ પુરી સરને આપ શ્રી આપના વરદ હસ્તે આ ટ્રોફી એનાયત કરશો। વડોદરા વોરિયર્સ champion of the season 2 Gujarat Super League, big cheer up for Vadodara Warriors।
Gujarat Super League, Gujarat Super League, Gujarat Super League,
hip hip,
Gujarat Super League,
champion of the Gujarat Super League season 2 Vadodara Warriors।
Super League,
Thank you honorable Mukesh Puri sir, thank you।
Gujarat Super League, 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 Gujarat Super League.
દોસ્તો ગુજરાત સુપર લીગ સીઝન 2 તેની ક્લોઝિંગ સેરેમની આપણે પૂર્ણ કરીએ પહેલા बशीर भद्र ने याद करीने एटलू ज कहीश के सितारों को अपनी आंखों में महफूज रखना, बहुत देर तक रात ही रात होगी। सितारों को अपनी आंखों में महफूज रखना, बहुत देर तक। चैंपियन टीम वडोदरा वॉरियर्स, सितारों को अपनी आंखों में महफूज रखना, बहुत देर तक रात ही रात होगी। मुसाफिर है हम भी, मुसाफिर हो तुम भी। गुजरात सुपर लीग सीजन 3 में फिर से मुलाकात होगी। सौने शुभ रात्रि, गुड नाइट, टाटा, बाय बाय। बार વિક્ટરી બસ રાખવામાં આવે છે। ચેમ્પિયન ટીમ વિક્ટરી બસમાં અમદાવાદના માર્ગો પર પ્રસ્થાન કરશે। ચેમ્પિયન ટીમ
अहमदाबाद एवेंजर्स टीम, अहमदाबाद